that he got all 200. He had to pay double for the hotel fee.
Yeah, but you lost before that even happened.
No idea. They're arguing.
Like, that's the problem right now.
So I'm actually scared they can hear.
Oh, you're bullshit.
You're so busy. Oh, are we sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry. I decided to go live. I just wanted people to hear this shit.
Wait, how long are we live? Wait, how long have we been live for?
Not too long.
God.
Hey, people.
Wow.
We're about to get started.
No, because I thought you were setting the show up, and I was like, oh, he might have the pre-roll ready, and we're on mute or something.
Here we go.
I guess welcome to the fucking show.
Oh, people. Man, this was one of my favorite ways of starting this shit.
I pissed that guy.
Oh, wait, your mic's messed up, bro. Right there. Oh my goodness, people! Yes, no, we're here. This was one of the most wonderful intros we've had in a long time. By the way, too, just so you know, Alan, it was only on for like literally 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, I mean,
oh my goodness, man, I had such a fun time with that shit. Now, basically, what happened is they played Uno last night, or not Uno, it was Monopoly, and they all had a big old thing going against each other and whatnot. And I guess the war continued on, but. I gotta say, right now, I had to take Ganja's side. I feel like, I'm sorry, man, but I gotta say, dude, Ganja makes a very valid point with this shit. And just so you know, Ganja,
you're assuming he was like being good about it. The thing is he even admitted before the game began, he's trying to make sure that I had nothing.
Yeah, but really quick, just to continue on really quick, I do want to say that Ganja, this is only recording for the last 30 seconds, so there's no context. That's what I was trying to explain to them what was going on, because all they heard was like the last bit, and I accidentally fucked up, and I know you can hear me because I saw your face, and I was like, hey people, don't say nothing. They have no idea that I'm recording. And then you looked at the camera, and I was like, fuck, he can hear me. But yeah, people know we are here. We're doing the show. I'm pretty sure the high score is still on, but I just had to get the last bits of that. And honestly, I really wish I would have recorded more, because that type of shit, I mean, honestly, people, you guys let us know what you want to see the Untitled Game Show do in the future. But holy shit, you guys need to play Monopoly on the show. I'm right now, as a fan, I gotta see you guys play that shit. It's the most wonderful thing.
Well, it's okay. It's one of those things where, as much fun as we had, I don't know how much talking we'll be doing during the game, because it's like the first few rolls around there is kind of really, really slow. So we have to find a way to kind of keep the conversation going. But once the oxygen starts happening, like, I don't know how interesting it would be for the other people watching.
Exactly.
Like, our fight right now is because of, what happened essentially over the course of essentially a 4.5 hour game.
Yeah, exactly. But Ganja, I'm sorry I had you recorded, brother. It was only last bit. You actually barely even taught too. That's the biggest thing. I'm kind of mad that I didn't get more of it, but god damn it. Anyways, but people know it's Midnight Chat. Thank you for watching, etc. And yeah, like Tay's even saying, like, I kind of want to see it. Dejan saying, I need Ganja to play Papers, Please. What's Papers?
Man, you just say that because you want to see me fucking go against the communist system I believe in. Fuck out of here.
No, I'll play. Fuck it. No, I'll do Paper, Please.
Well, that's because you have a heart on the whole time. Like, oh, you want to get in this country? $50, bitch.
Yeah, well, Alan's actually said many times he's actually admitted that he wants to be a dictator, basically. Or wouldn't you be a dictator of your own place? I mean, and you have reasons why. So
it's one of my thing is always just like, I'm not like the whole I'm gonna be like this evil authoritarian bastard. It's mostly just I think I know a decent idea of how I want things to be run, and I want to do it my way, and I don't want to have to go through fucking Congress, who's going to immediately go against me just because I'm either Republican or Democrat. Like, I hate that shit. It's like, no, I want to do it because I think it's the right fucking idea. Fuck you. I do what I want.
Exactly. And by the way, too, yeah, like this is it right over here.
Civil
Monopoly
War.
Civil War Edition.
Oh, that's not real. That's not real. That's not real. I don't believe
talk right now. We know what side he's going to fight for. I'll let you right now. It's not the union.
Fuck off.
Okay, so that's the thing. The reason why I even did this right now, because I don't want to do too much explaining. I don't want to tell you guys, oh, they were so mad at each other. I want you guys to actually hear it. But before we even continue, I actually want a little bit of the YouTube chat to have a little say in this. Now, Alan, what was the big thing that you and Ganja are arguing about right now? Because I'm actually going to get the audience's vote on what should have happened and what should not have happened.
So the thing is as soon as we started the game, we all do our pieces and stuff, and I was getting some property and stuff, And anytime I was like saying, "Hey Ganja, let's discuss this," he's like, "No. I know what you're planning. You're the most dirty capitalist bastard. You're the most dangerous fucking player here. I ain't doing shit." And
In my defense, who won?
Yeah, because of strategy.
In my defense, who won?
Yes, I won. But the
Okay,
thing is,
so
like,
who was the threat at the beginning of the game, Nick, that I identified?
yes, but you're being petty. Any deal that I gave you, any sort of thing of like, oh, hey, this property's worth 100, I'm gonna give you 150. You're like, no, you're just a vulture, man. You're trying to get.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing, Alan. Here's a little secret here. My thing with this is I knew you had a strategy towards those properties. So why would I give you a chance to get Monopoly faster?
Because you were broke for most of the game and needed money.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I was getting money through rolls and as well. Like you say, like,
yes,
oh, well.
You got lucky. How many times did you get a pass go and then land on luxury tax or some sort of tax and immediately lose?
And I still kept going to the point that we played a solid 4-hour game of you just wanted these properties that somehow I was unlucky
and
to the whole time.
And you kept losing money, never gaining any money,
either way,
never
though,
gaining any property.
Either side of it, like I do want to bring this up really quick too. I'm going to show this just so people have like a visual reference point. I'm not just trying to make a joke. Actually, I'm curious.
Why did you pick this one?
Because Civil War, dude.
Because
you're... Yeah, exactly. What I was about to say. No,
hey man, let's just say you like your stars and your reds close together.
Oh damn, you people! But like,
you.
as we discussed this, so just so we have a visual reference here on the board. Alan, what did you want to do? What deal did you want to do property wise?
Are we trying to play by play of our Monopoly game last night?
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Because I'm honestly, and maybe people don't feel the same, but like everyone makes a joke of Monopoly destroys lives and friendships and things like that. Man, this is a proof that shit's actually getting to you motherfuckers, and I am so entertained.
Honestly, man, Alan's the Warren more salty. I get more salty over that Uno shit. I feel like I got ripped. This I was just trying to make his strategy fuck over.
Yeah, from the moment the game started, got to the entire strategy was to fuck me over. Is that really how you play Monopoly?
I knew who was trying to win the whole time, and the guy who ended up winning. The guy who ended up winning was the guy I was trying to screw over the whole time. It's like I found the most value player and try to break his kneecaps like Tanya Harding.
Who starts Monopoly goes, man, I don't want to win this at all. I want to lose horribly.
But he knows what your strengths were. But anyways, like just back to the thing though, like property-wise.
Thank you.
You want to do
it's kind of hard to say because this is backwards and it's also different because this is a completely different version of the game. Oh wait, no, it's just reversed.
No, it's the same thing.
Just colors.
Yes. Okay. I was trying to get the. Okay, I was honestly just trying to buy any sort of property because I wasn't landing on properties fast.
I'm sorry, Alan, but I just realized go to jail is go to slavery. That's fucked up.
Like I said, why did you pick this one?
Because
anyway,
man, the other one says slavery just visiting. So are you just like going to the plantation? That's the wrong thing. Going to the plantation.
Watch people work and shit.
Okay, man, so what I was trying to do is I was trying to buy the light blue property near the bottom, but the thing is 90s and Ganja, they kept landing on the property and buying it immediately because of course I said do. The thing is whenever I went, I either landed on the railroads or I landed on a community chest or I landed on a property that's already purchased. So I was at a disadvantage from the start of I really had no property because I wasn't landing on a lot of the property stuff before it was already taken. So,
okay, but like the last bit though, like just like because I know you had to add context, I get that, but like the property wise, like what deal were you trying to make?
I wanted to I wanted to buy one of the orange places at cost, and for most of it until I started upping the cost, and Ganja was refusing it.
Okay, now what was your proposed deal? Because I'm gonna see what the chat thinks.
Yeah. My proposed deal was for one of the orange property was at cost plus $50.
That was my
my first.
Now, chat. With that said, chat, would you have taken that deal? And that's gonna win this argument, by the way. I'm gonna go to the chat, the YouTube chat, by the way, and I'm gonna see what the YouTube chat feels is going to actually, see whose side would be on. Because for me, with Ganja, I would have not taken a deal. And I've said this earlier, and I think Ganja would feel the same way. I mean, tell me whether or not you feel the same way. But I would have definitely said, give me that property, and then give me the property of equal value and an extra $100. But I want a property of equal value as well.
See, I thought that, Nick, but my problem was I didn't know how special this property was to his long-term game. And my goal is not to make sure that he just ends this game early because I like playing Monopoly longer than an hour. There's some people that can do this shit pretty fast. And Alan's already bragged like, oh, I play Monopoly with my friends. I do Monopoly. I already knew who the MVP was. So I was making sure he didn't get his
the same thing.
Yeah, but I didn't believe 90s, honestly. But I'll be honest, I didn't believe him.
Guys, from the moment the game even started.
I didn't believe him. I identified the problem, and I tried to put down the threat, all right? I got screwed over by my own left hand with these bad little rolls.
See, the thing is right off the bat with what Nick said is Nick gave a counter offer to an offer. That is fair. He doesn't obviously you don't have to give me any property, but gotcha for any deal I was gonna make, even if I gave him fucking 3 times its worth, he's still gonna say no, because from the moment he began, he's like, I'm gonna make sure Alan never gets anywhere. Where Nick is like, okay, I know he wants it, but I would need to get something of equal value. I would have negotiated with you and found a way to make it work, because so that we could both win.
Yeah, I mean, and I totally see the point too that you're saying. I mean, and that you wanted to do what you did. At the same time, I would say go higher. And here's the thing, and this is a little random.
I'm actually mad that Nick wasn't there, because I would have actually done what he said.
I would have gone higher.
I would have gone higher. I would have tried to get some extra property out of you. But the problem was, I didn't know how willing he was willing to go, and I didn't know how valuable this property was to him in his long-term plan.
And the big thing I'm going to show over here really quick, too, is I'm just going to throw this over here in the DT chat. I put it over here on the side. Well, I mean, it ain't showing that well.
Nice little straw poll.
Oh, yeah, straw poll. And here it is, people. What board game? And, I mean, hey, this is just to get what you guys want to do. I don't know what you guys have planned, but if you guys were to watch a tabletop game with these guys playing in VR chat, etc., what board game would you like the Untitled Game Show to play on Fridays? Either Life, Monopoly, or Uno, because those are the 3 games that you guys are playing, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, you guys say that like Monopoly destroyed lives. We got into the biggest argument in Uno.
Oh, man.
That was the one that really like right now. I'm not obviously me and Gaza are mad at each other. We're arguing, but we're not mad at each other.
Yeah, of course.
Alan almost threw hands over the rules.
Because we played like the thing is it was me Ganja, Trey from the Ringside Hangout, and 90s, and all 4 of us played with different sets of rules. So we were arguing about what rules we were gonna play. Like I played with situations like, oh, you could you had to play the specific specific skip cards on specific colors. You had to do this, and that's like everyone had different rules, and it got to the point where everyone was arguing everything, and it just turned into a giant fight before the game even began.
Yeah, but I'm looking over here in the chat too, and yeah, like DJ said Uno. Everyone's saying Secret Hitler. What the fuck is Secret Hitler?
I think Secret Hitler is one of those games like Cards Against Humanity, and you're trying to figure out who's I think the Hitler out of the group. Maybe it's like a version of. I didn't really look into it because it's one of those DLC games, and we've tried to set up the zombie one because we actually want to try to do more tabletop games. And Jenny, yes, you're invited. So are you, Rufus? Because I see you guys always play tabletop games. You guys talk about RPGs with your friends, and we kind of need people that are a little more professional to help set these games up to show what we're doing. Yeah, and a lot of these games are really in depth with like character sheets. Like we're gonna attempt to do the Fallout one, which is a mod version for tabletop, and I'm praying that I know a little bit about the rules, but it seems to be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, apparently there's an online version, Ruthless is saying. So honestly, if we have time in the next couple of days, me and God will probably just try it out amongst ourselves and see if we can make something
Chris
work.
Brown's got a point. Monopoly takes hours, whereas Life, we can actually get that done in like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, we did. It was really fast, but my thing is Life is too easy. I felt like we were losing money.
No, we weren't doing it right, because the one thing you're supposed to do is when we get the life cards things, if you guys remember from playing the old board game, you're supposed to get these chips that sometimes give you bonuses and stuff. We're supposed to keep it and then cash it in at the end of our lives. We were just collecting the cash from them and then putting them back in the pile.
Okay, so we were.
That's why it was so easy to get cash.
Yeah, man. But and since we're talking about this, like, this is a big reason why I wanted to discuss this as well, because you guys have been really whooping ass on the Friday Facebook video game shows. So I mean, hey, like, Ganja, why don't you tell the folks about that Facebook page and what you guys been doing, man?
I love to, guys. We always do the Untitled Video Game Show, as well as post those good old highlight videos that we think are great from the show that are going to be posted on YouTube, or sometimes some special content for just you guys to have a great time. Matter of fact, scroll it up. We got one of our little comments from our favorite little Ragnarok, or also known as Max Condone on Facebook. Hey, guys, I hope you have another great show. I just got back from celebrating a friend's birthday, but I'll be there for the midweek chat attack because I do want to talk about Gotham by Gaslight, the newest DC animated movie to come out. Thank you, Max, for giving us a shout out, and that's for all you guys to give us, little hints or topics you really want to see us discuss, or for you guys to come on. That's what the Facebook page is there for, and also for check out the Untitled Video Game Show, where me, Alan, try not to kill each other over video games. Most of the top, we just pull out blades.
Yeah, and the last video game that you guys did was actually a Dying Light. That's what you guys were playing.
Yes. And we had the whole talk about zombie games where Alan met his hatred for zombie products and all things zombies for some reason.
Oh, yeah, except for Walking Dead Season 2! No, I'm just playing.
Don't get me started. I didn't even bother bring that up because that would have been like 2-hour show just for that.
Yeah, for me, the 15th time in a row explaining my points on it, and Nick conveniently likes to forget it whenever he wants to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like to conveniently forget things all the fucking time, but the thing is, what you guys cannot conveniently forget is the motherfucking rules, sir. So, Ganja Guru, why don't you tell these folks what the rules are right over here?
Like I do every other week, Nick, because this is about community, and it's also every community got rules. I know you guys try to do a little anarchist shit in the after hours, but we got to wrap that shit up after people get too crazy. But if you're a 12-year-old kid with good comedy skills and approved by your parents to use that shit, please come on. That was hilarious. But, guys, for the show, rule number 1, newcomers, join the call first. We're all about those fresh, new smelling faces, those people we haven't seen for a long time, or those people popping off for the first time. So make sure to hit us, me, Alan, or Nick on Facebook or the Double Toast channel so we can get you onto the show. Rule number 2, do not talk over each other,
the link, motherfucker.
I don't know what he said, but just don't do that shit because it ruins audio quality for later viewing, and sometimes people want to hear what we're talking about. I know it's surprising, but they do. Rule number 3, please no nudity, folks. This is kind of a rule, a golden rule when it comes to YouTube. One of those special little rules that keep us from getting kicked off of YouTube, so please keep the titties inside the shirt. Rule number 4, do not give anyone else the link. We have a planned show that comes off of certain topics, subjects, and conversations. So you hand out the link, your ass is gone, and so is the dumbass who clicked it. Rule number 5, read the rules, and Alice is Allie Girl here to do it for me.
Don't be a dick, motherfuckers.
Don't be a monopoly dick, motherfuckers. Okay, don't pass go and don't collect $200 motherfucking dollars.
But yeah, that was ganja for 5 rounds in a row.
Hey man, I was still in the game though.
Barely.
I go at it again. What business?
I'm still in the game though, bitch.
Yeah, apparently passed out in the corner, bleeding to death is still in the game.
Hey man, it is but a flesh wound.
Jesus Christ, you motherfuckers! I swear to God. Here's the thing, though, man. And I was gonna bring this up a little bit later on the show about that. You know what? I mean, it's something everybody else has been talking about like fucking crazy. But it's that Pacific Rim, Pacific Rim Uprising, where the fuck it's called, trailer.
Yeah, I think you got it.
Here's the thing, dude. Okay. Like, I'm not the dude who talks shit about most trailers. I actually like shit like Geostorm, and I like the Transformers Last Night trailer. And granted, I didn't like Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. Yeah, I know. I felt you, Gunch.
So your defense for this not being trash is I like all these trash movies. So therefore, this is not going to be trash.
The trailers were good because they're trying to sell you not trash for trash. They gotta get people in there somehow. I mean, that's
Salvation had a great reveal, man. You know, we got to feel out that he was the Terminator. We got to see Arnold Schwarzenegger's cameo in CGI, as horrible as that was. I agree. That was some great trailers.
Yeah, Gandhi, we got to see the whole movie in the trailer.
That's apparently par for the course for Terminator trailers.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But the thing is, and I wanted to bring this up really quick, too, because I do like a lot of trailers that are not Marvel, and most of the trailers we discuss on this show are Marvel trailers. So you guys are kind of like used to me talking shit all the goddamn time. And I'm sorry. I'm not a Disney fan. I'm not a Marvel fan. I'm not a fucking Star Wars fan. It's just one of those things. I know in the chat right now, too, or chat, I said trat. In the chat right now, they're talking about, Darth Vader and stuff like that, too. So I don't even know. But I will say, though, I can be negative sometimes. I can nitpick, but you, Alan, do not like Pacific Rim. At least that's what I remember. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn you said you do not like Pacific Rim.
It's one of those things where Pacific. It's not that I guess honestly, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not that I hate it or I'm like, oh man, this is complete trash. It's more of just I just didn't enjoy what I was watching because like when I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh, I love this big, open, incredible, like we're gonna make these giant monsters fight these giant kaijus. But I felt that none of the fights were cool because most of the time I couldn't see what was going on. Every fight was punch super slowly while it's raining, underwater, or it's dark. Or if it was a climax, all three. It just felt like it was never as interesting. Where it's like when Godzilla came out, like I think either the same year or the next year. Yeah, that only had one fight in it, but that fight was fucking awesome. It was one great fight where Pacific Rim had a lot of fights, but they weren't good, except for maybe one of the ones in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see where you're coming from, but like this movie, like I said, dude, this trailer, it does suffer from typical like, hey, I mean, not sequelitis because you had to see the movie first, obviously, but I just feel like, everything that happened in this trailer, I wasn't shocked for anything. I wasn't like, oh, dude, I had no idea that this particular thing was going to happen. The only thing that I was confused about is why the fuck this entire thing takes place during the day.
I'm glad about that. My problem with the last one is it took entirely at night, which means a lot of the fight scenes were really difficult to see. My first thought was, thank you, you're doing it in the daytime, which means when you have the fights, it's actually going to be cool. Something else I actually like the trailer is, I don't know if you want to continue with that, but I do like the fact that it was in the daytime, which means we get to see these cool monsters. We get to see the light bounce off of them. It's not just raining at night, where it's like they did that because the movie's expensive and they want to hide some of the visuals so that they can actually keep under budget. This is like, no, fuck it, let's do it in the daytime so we can actually see these robots fighting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I see what you're saying with that. Like Ganja, what about you? When you see big robots fighting, do you want to see them during the night or during the day?
See, to me, it doesn't really matter as long as the choreography is good with the CGI and it looks believable. But the thing is, like, I do prefer it more at night because it has the mysteriousness of the monsters and it gives them better detail. Like, he looks like a lizard creature and I look like a fucking giant, like, CGI robot jumping around. Like, there's no sense of realism, whereas night you could kind of pull off the more realistic features off of, like, it reflecting off the light and whatnot. But when you get, like, these day shots, it's much easier for people to point out the crap in the CGI.
Yeah, no, and that's what I feel too. I feel like, I mean, and granted, it's more impressive when this looks good at during the day because it's like, oh shit, like look at all those details. But it's like, yeah, work smarter, not harder sometimes. And I feel like, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a compliment in itself. You guys are working hard to make this shit look good. But at the same time, it's like this stuff kind of looks ridiculous. Like this particular thing. Why would this particular robot have that fucking weapon? That weapon looks silly. At night, that would have looked really cool, illuminating the fucking dark, like, you know, atmosphere and everything. That would have been cool.
I think Pacific Rim actually did it great with the first movie where the fight scene was during a thunderstorm with the kaijus because it made everything reflective and it gave everything this more real tint by the water bouncing off of it.
Yeah, but it was so hard to see everything.
That's
like
the
Hong
point.
Kong fight. But the thing is, it's like when you're advertising a movie of giant monsters versus giant robots, this isn't Freddy versus Jason where it's a horror movie. This is supposed to be, we're supposed to be seeing cool shit happen. This is a Colossal where we're just having the monsters in the background. You advertise this as giant robots fighting giant monsters. The Hong Kong fight was cool because all of the lights, even though it was at night, the whole lighting made everything look cool. And when I see this, it's like, yeah, like, look at that. Like, look how hard it is to see that. I feel like I'm watching Rocky 5 underwater.
See, you're saying it's hard to see, but like even if it's hard to see, it's atmospheric. It's like, oh shit, here it comes this ominous thing.
I want to see cool fighting, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think you're demanding too much from a CGI monster movie. Where the point is that not really like a choreographed fight scene. Like you're never gonna get something like John Wick or these great action Chinese cinemas that you used to watch. Like this is gonna be basic, you know, slow punches, long thrash, or big grabs.
Godzilla did the exact same thing with a giant monster, slow fighting the Mudos, and that was great. It was short, it was sweet, and incredible.
That's the thing, though. With Godzilla, it's a different movie. This is more like what was that video game that for the original Xbox and the PS2?
Oh, Mechasoul?
No. Where you play monsters from like old school Hollywood monster movies and stuff.
Oh, fuck, King of the Monsters, I think.
King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters.
Isn't that a Godzilla game?
No, but it's the same kind of vein and it's more cartoonish, but it gets to the same point. This is more about like these old school kaiju fights that you see in like Power Rangers. So it's supposed to give more of a sense of like you can be in these suits and find these characters. Whereas with Godzilla, you're supposed to be the person on the ground looking up at these giant battles, these creatures. So it makes more sense when these fights are slow moving because you're seeing the massive Godzilla and these creatures move. Whereas this, because they're so immersed with the camera angles and you're so close with the characters, you feel rather on the ground watching this fight, like with Godzilla, you're in the fight. You're in the cockpit with these heroes that are fighting off these monsters. And that's supposed to feel quicker and more, I guess, a feel like kind of like that, like where it's a guy in a costume because they're going to mimic human moves and that doesn't really look good on CGI. Unless it's on more humanistic characters, but you're never going to get that out of robots and giant monsters.
But like I said, as we're seeing literally Godzilla fight there, in the Godzilla movie, they had a giant, like 100-foot lizard fight two, flying creatures. Or a flying creature and one on the ground, and they made it look really good. Pacific Rim, to me, I feel like it's this very slow, almost 50s movie, but my problem isn't that it's slow. My problem is that it was hard to see because it was at night, because it was underwater, because it was raining. Where in this trailer, and I like it where it's like, you get to see a lot of the cool flips, you get to see a lot of cool monsters, and they're actually doing robot versus robot fighting. So even if the situation where, the robot versus the kaiju are just going to be the punch back and forth, they have a robot versus a robot fight. So right away, we already know that these robots aren't like only the military can build them. Other countries can probably build versions of them or rogue factions. And we're going to get to see really cool fights with that. So to me, it's like...
And that's the thing, though. Like, and my problem with that is from using a brighter contrast against these machines, you're going to get almost a Transformer effect where sometimes if it's not shot well, you don't know whose character's doing what, or it just looks too cheesy and looks like action figures.
I don't know, man. From what they saw in the trailer, all the robots have different colored... they all have, very unique, like, the red, blue. We saw an orange guy.
Yeah,
the color palette's great.
The color palette thing, like that, they say that about, Bumblebee and, Optimus Prime and a few other characters. But once they're fighting, you see all these big metal hunks of machines just rolling around and shit together. it's very hard to tell them apart because of the CGI makes them look like little action robots.
Hey, I don't know about the movie, but in the trailer they had literally a silver one fighting a silver one. And they had enough of a different color palette that you could tell them right away before they're fighting. But then as they were fighting and literally hugging, you knew which one was which. And maybe that was just the best shot in the movie and this movie's trash. But in the trailer, we already saw that they could actually pull this off, having two close things fighting, and we could tell the difference between them. Like, I actually have higher hopes for this one than the first one after watching it. It's like, oh, okay. They're fixing a lot of the things that I had issues with, and it feels like they're expanding this world because this world is super fucking interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with both of you. You guys make great points. My only issue is, once again, like, with Transformers 2, I remember that it was like, hey, people have a great time with these movies. Let's have some fun. And I was like, yeah, the fun was the fact that we didn't know what the fuck was going to happen, and we were scared of Megatron. It was fun being scared of the big, bad fucking baddie. And this is like, yo, let's have a great time. I mean, there's scenes in this trailer of John Boyega, like, with that fucking hot chick on top of him on a motorcycle with short shorts and booties sticking out.
That wasn't the whole movie. That's kind of just show he's a blowhard or he doesn't give a shit. It's not like, oh man, well, let's be jokey and funny. It was more of this guy's kind of the whole, the hero where it's like, yeah, my dad was a big
more than
legend.
that, though.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's like, it wasn't like halfway through. It's like, I'm punching a kaiju and he winks at the girl going, yo, check me out. It wasn't like that level, you know?
No, true. Absolutely not. I mean, I don't think they even have enough time within the trailer to do that joke. So, I mean, if that joke's in there, we're not going to see it in the trailer.
Sure.
But the biggest part is like, you know, there's other situations where Charlie Day is wait, what the fuck was that noise?
Remember that? I dropped my pen.
Oh, okay. No. Well, actually, it sounded like the trailer because I just clicked on the trailer and I was like, oh, fuck, what the fuck? No, but I do feel like, yeah, man, with Charlie Day being in it again, and like he was a little bit funny in the first one, not too funny.
I hated him in the first one.
Yeah, well, he's back again, and he's been a lot worse on things lately. I mean, I liked him in Fist Fight, but like other than that, like this dude's kind of getting on my fucking
I feel
nerves.
like he's the skinny Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Where he shows up at stuff and I'm gonna be yelling and screaming, oh my god, everything's rah, 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 rah. And he's always fucking things up and being an idiot. I'm like, I hated him so much. I hope they bring Ron Perlman back. I kind of liked him in the first one. He was kind of just like, yeah, I'm just a black market businessman in this world, and I'm just selling shit because people are willing to buy it.
And this is not the scene I'm talking about, but there's a scene in this trailer where there's this big badass fucking robot thing happens, and he is in the middle of all of this craziness, and he goes, yeah. And I was like, oh, is he supposed to be the audience where we're supposed to go, yeah, because he said, yeah, woo,
Yeah.
robots, explosions, Michael fucking Bay, even though he's not in this, or he doesn't do this movie. But it might as well be. Like,
Is Guillermo del Toro still directing this?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually not really good with those kinds of things in movies. But
Okay.
aside from it, and that's the biggest thing too, is I never want to know because I know people do that a lot, especially around this time of year when the Oscars are coming up. People love to say like, "Oh, did this particular man work on this movie?" And then that's all of his work. It's on his back. It's shit that he already did before, so he's not allowed to do anything fucking not good. It's like,
well, that's the thing. Like, I know that's
coming out
the
Shape
problem.
of Water, you know.
Yeah. But I know like that's a problem with bad directors. But honestly, I think that's fair. If you do a bunch of garbage, okay, imagine if you're hiring a contractor to work on your house. If he's burnt down the last 4 houses, am I really gonna get him to work on my house? No, I'm gonna get the guy that's like gets a 5-star on Yelp.
But the guy who gets a 5-star on Yelp can have his issues too. James Cameron would get a 5-star on Yelp if directing was on Yelp, but then he came out Titanic and Avatar. And I'm sorry,
but
fuck those movies.
but that's just like when you look at something like, for instance, Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott has made a lot of clunkers. If you like, I did quickly look up this guy. He's not really done anything. He's done like some television shows and stuff, but he seems to be kind of like he doesn't have much of a biography when it comes to directing. So it's like, hey, it might be an interesting thing, but it's like at the end of it, I'm more willing to give a guy a chance if he has low credits than bad credits.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, overall, like I know you don't like, just like me. I mean, I like the light or the lack of light. I like the darkness, but like you know, aside from that, Ganja, like. What do you feel about this in general? Because I don't know if you watched the entire trailer or not.
No, I did. I did enjoy it somewhat. It seems like it's going to be just another, like, one of those big monster movies, kind of like King Kong. Just more of on the cheesy side because it's going to be taking a lot of notes from, like, Jenny's talking about Power Rangers in the chat, and I'm getting heavy vibes from that, especially with the big monster scenes with the guys inside the one mech suit. But who knows? It might be good. People are really divided on the first one. A lot of people either like it or really hate it. But maybe they'll come around and actually make a good, decent movie the second time, or this is another bullshit film that we get to make fun of when we all watch it.
Yeah, so moving on and things like that, and we'll see what happens with that particular movie. But moving on, man, I knew this MoviePass shit wasn't gonna work out.
Really? Already?
So what's happening with this shit, by the way? Because this is like big news now.
Yeah, it's big news, and I've been reading conflicting reports, so I don't even want to say too much about this particular thing, because I mean I'm not even entirely, good with this stuff. But yeah, apparently at some places MoviePass is no longer working, and I want to discuss on just reasons why we think it might not be working. I'm gonna go ahead and go first, and then you guys can tell me what you think about this.
All right.
But for me personally, I feel like the reason why is because these people, movie theaters are not getting very good business anyways, honestly. Like, I mean, there'll be certain times where, like, these big Marvel movies will come out, or, Justice League or some shit, and make a shit ton of money within 1 month, and everything around it suffers. I mean, people sometimes make, like, a quarter of their money back, like, in the box office and things like that. Right. Usually Blu-rays are the things that kind of continue the money and make things, fucking great, or digital stuff. Renting so much easy now, doing that, like, on PSN and stuff like that. But my whole issue is, like, yeah, man, when you have everyone getting $10 movie passes, and then just because you had the movie pass, you just go and see any fucking movie, now you're, like, purposely taking money from other people. It's not like a thing where you're just like, oh, I feel like watching a movie, I'll go watch now. You're literally trying to watch more to take away from the mouths of mouth.
Well, okay, it's not like someone's going, I get to watch as many movies. It's more of like, oh, it's like a Netflix type thing. Like, people are doing it because it's like, it's an affordable option, and it's something...
I kind of disagree with you. Like, you're like, oh, people were like, oh, I get to watch more free movies.
Yeah,
that's
but no one's
exactly
doing it
how it got sold to me. I don't know about you guys.
No, what I mean is no one's fucking laughing maniacally going, I can't wait to bankrupt the industry. They're like,
we can't all afford lightning crashes at the end of our speeches, man.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I don't think anyone's trying to fuck up the entire business because no one thinks of that sense. But you have to realize that AMC MoviePass was a kind of a dumb deal, or at least the resurgence of it right now. Because before it was $50 a month, and they're like, okay, that's not gonna work. No, okay, it's kind of fair, but you better include my fucking popcorn and shit. Like, you know what I mean? You better include some other shit. No,
to me, $50, like $50 a month is like, I know people go, oh no, I can't believe I'm paying that much. That's actually fair to see. Essentially, like, if you think about it, if you're, let's say, $15 times 30, that's like well over $500 if you saw a movie every single day.
But, like, thinking in a way of profit margin and things like that, this fucking thing, like, okay, like, for me, and I don't know how it is in your guys' places, but, like, to see a movie during the day, it's like $5.99 for me, okay? So I have to go out of my way just to make it worth the fact that I pay this fucking bill every month. I have to go out of my way to see a second movie. Now, that honestly is, it's taking away potential money, because just that second movie alone, the movie theater already lost $2. And, I mean, imagine if there's 100,000 subscribers that have this fucking card. That's about $200,000 just down right there alone.
Well, yeah, like, I get what you mean 100%, but honestly, I think this is really at fault at whoever came up with the movie passes. Because if you're trying to get a pass so that people don't have to keep paying for a movie, you have to, like, what dumbass thought $10 a month? That's perfectly fair. You price it based on how much it costs. Like, you have to figure out how much it costs per movie per day, multiply it by a month, and figure out a good cost that'll still make you at cost and still be good to the consumer to make it appealing. Netflix charges you, $10, $11, $12 a month, and they make their budget accordingly. It's like, why would they think that charging you next to nothing would be a good idea? Of course it's fucked up.
Yeah, and over here... Oh,
I'm sorry, $50 a month is not insane. If you think about it, if you want to see a movie every single day, it'd be fucking expensive.
Yeah, and while he's talking things like that, I mean, we're gonna talk about the CEO of I think it was AMC. I forgot where the place is, but the CEO, Mitch Lowe. He basically put the statement out saying, as of today, you'll find a small handful of theaters are no longer available on our platform. Our number one goal as a company is to provide an accessible price point for people to enjoy films the way they're meant to be seen, and that's on the big screen. Many exhibitors have been receptive to their mission, and we're excited to be working with theater chains that are closely aligned with our customer service values as we continue to strive for mutually beneficial relationships. Mutually. It's obvious that the only people that are benefiting from this was fucking AMC this entire time. Or
are they benefiting from it?
Well, yeah, because people that don't want to watch fucking movies, they're not gonna go to movie theaters. AMC's making some kind of money from that, or at least movie pass people, because they are in divisions and whatnot too. Like, they're probably competing within each other. So
I mean, that's the thing. Like I did the math real quick right now. Yeah, 30 times 15 is $450 a month. If you want to see a movie a month and you weren't seeing it during the day, like Nick, for instance, you're paying almost $500. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't watch movies enough to justify even a $10 a month thing, because I see like one movie, 2 movies a month, maybe. Yeah. But like, if I was a critic, for instance, or if I was someone that either my job or I just like seeing movies every single day, $50 a month is honestly fucking chump change, but it's one of those things. Any sort of package deal per month, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it to me? How often am I going to be seeing these movies? You know?
Yeah, and over here, just at the end, in case people are getting worried if we're a little hyperbolic in our discussion about this, it says, despite the nice subscriber boost, MoviePass may need millions more in order to make its business model more realistic for the long-term success. Ultimately, MoviePass remains in the early stages of its new subscription price. It still works with the vast majority of AMC theaters, so please buy it. Please, please, for the love of fucking God, our children are hungry.
Please, I have stocks in this, man. My Bitcoin crashed. I need money.
Bitcoin's already crashing, man. I got nothing left.
Please, people, we are hungry to make money off shit that we didn't put no effort in. Like, I'm sorry, but nah, man, fuck that. Like, honestly, I want this shit to fail at least a little bit because
I don't, because I just think people are just like don't understand how good of a deal even at $40 a month would be if you're seeing it consistently. Think about it. If you're seeing, like, it depends how, like, everyone in this call probably isn't going to buy it because we see maybe one in theaters, probably 1 or 2 movies a month.
Shit,
but imagine the guy, like, if Justin was here, he sees like what 80 movies a fucking month. Like, that's totally worth it for someone like him.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like, even doing like the whole $50 a month deal, like from what I hear, there's a lot of rules and restrictions on the MoviePass. Like, you have to go with certain types.
It's
you
like
can only
12 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yeah, like you gotta do it almost like church and shit. Like, you gotta be going out there in your best suit and shit to go actually and watch a movie. And the problem with that is, like, they can make it more difficult as these theaters pull that off more. So it's less on the theaters that you're paying $50 a month to have access to at certain times. Now, the thing is, I can actually see the problem with MoviePass being a business deal that actually be successful, because the thing is, Nick, a lot of these app companies or just these companies that try to help people get better deals at these basic places fail at a business for some reason. I don't know if it's because they always try to undercharge people and they end up getting fucked in their overhead. But for example, Lyft and a few other companies that I know that we all use aren't really making the profit that they were supposed to actually receive to actually keep a stable business plan. They're just going because they actually have constant new users. And to me, this sounds like the same kind of problem where they're actually trying to constantly advertise people to come get a movie pass, because it's the only way they're going to be viable as a company is everyone keeps buying movie passes, so they're constantly have new income coming in to justify the movie prices.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm so stupid. I had to go to a fucking calculator site, you know. But yeah, like $10 a month for 12 months, $120 a year. I'm sorry, but even that's too much.
Yeah, but again, it depends on how many movies you're seeing per month. Is my thing of like $120. Like, people think, oh my god, that's so much money that they're gouging me. It's like, how many movies are you seeing a month that is an issue? If you're in a situation where the amount of movies you see a month actually goes under what was it? Under that, then yes, you have no fucking reason to buy it. But I guarantee you, most people that see movies see at least 2 or 3 a month, and that price per that would actually be double. Like, I'm sorry, it's one of those things where, of course, like, movies are, again, $10 to $15 depending on where you are and what.
Actually, no, that's what I was gonna say. Most theaters, especially in America, from what I can tell, is like $8 to $15. Which, even if you go to the movie like constantly, you have to be going like every week to actually get to that point of like your price for that a year, 120. Well, and then you got
two movies. Okay, that's $10 per month. Even if it's at $8, two movies is $16. That'd be $16 a month. That would be more than 120. That'd be about 160.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. It doesn't cover your concession stand. It doesn't cover your trip to there. It's really just the most basic kind of thing. And then you got what Adrian says. It's only good for regular movies. So now that cuts down your viewing time to like almost 50%, because most movies now are IMAX or 3D.
Exactly.
But a lot of movies are give you the availability of you can actually watch it in closed caption. That's how I watched Thor Ragnarok. I watched it in closed caption, or not closed caption. I watched it regular viewing, no 3D, no nothing. But it's just like $10 a month. Like, I get why they're shutting it down, because they're like, yeah, people are seeing like fucking 4 or 5 movies a month, and that's like 3 or 4 times what they're paying for the app. And it's like, yeah, we're losing a fuck ton of money because of the fact that we're not making any returns on it. Like, movies are expensive to watch. Like, if you're complaining about that, you should be complaining about the industry, not about the passes.
Yeah,
people are mad at the wrong thing right now.
and this is a post that was done on Cinema Blend about 3 months ago, and basically they said earlier this year. So think about this, like 2017, probably around I would say summer of last year. They're saying like, yeah, they dropped the price from $30 a month to $9.95. Now before the 30 was $50, so they've been dropping it like literally by quarter earnings.
People aren't buying it.
Yeah, because it's not working, and they're like, man, what can we do to entice these motherfuckers so they can buy this? And it becomes like just religion, just becomes like. Like I have to do this, like just like my Netflix, because even though I don't watch Netflix a whole lot, I gotta pay this bill because it's
if you're a moviegoer, you must have this MoviePass.
Yeah, exactly. So they said that basically around that time, MoviePass had about 20,000 subscribers prior to dropping the price, and that number has jumped to 600,000. So think about this money, this inflation of fucking money that they made, and this proves that they kind of had something going on. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the money, but originally
not enough of it is coming in. Like,
well,
yeah, that's
$240,000 a year from the $20,000 range of making that a year, and then nowadays, or at least they're saying it's going to happen later on within the 6-month price range, they're bound to make $7 million. And in this article over here, they said that they're making $3 million at a certain point, 3.1 million subscribers. So, like I said, dude, it's strange for me to feel like they're going to continue, making all this money. But then they're also saying, oh, yeah, these movie theaters are losing a whole lot. They're making too much profit. That needs to be shared to the movie theaters. And I feel like $15 might be the best. I mean, like, for you, Alan, you said $40 earlier. But honestly, if you were, like, a CEO or something, what would you bring the price to?
Honestly, I would, like, the thing is, they already did what I would have said. I would have kept it at 30. But the thing is, it's like, even that didn't work. So it's like this MoviePass idea doesn't work. It doesn't work at all because $30 a month, in my head, $30 a month is fucking reasonable shit. Like, if I was in a situation where I did go to movies often enough, I would totally get a MoviePass for $30 a month. Because it's like, okay, I see 2, 3, 4 movies, I'm already in the clear. But they tried that and didn't work. So honestly, I get where, like, if this is a situation where people don't want to pay fucking, more than $10 a month, fuck it, get rid of the fucking MoviePass and have to pay regular price and see how they fucking like it then.
Or kick some money towards them. Just be like, hey, like, it's $10, but have a thing where it's like, hey, if you get this though, you get like some sales off of your popcorn and shit. So then maybe movie theater will be like, hey, we're making more deals on our junk food.
PSN, do what PSN does. You pay what, $50 a year. I'm not saying do the exact same thing, but PSN, it's like you pay $50 a year for PlayStation Plus. You get 10% off most things on the store, even if they're on sale.
Exactly.
So it's like that's but like it's I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like something Ganja said earlier, where they're not the only way Uber and Lyft are surviving is they constantly get new people because of the fact of how they're pricing everything. And I think no matter what they do, that this is going to shut down easily.
Like they're not even getting away with that little pyramid scheme idea of like, oh, if we keep bringing in new people, we're going to constantly be having profits, so we don't have to worry about the overhead. They're already fucked at the overhead. Like they're honestly, if you got stock in this shit, pull out. It's a dead business.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bitcoin, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ganja was right about that too, though. You remember warning fucking 90s about this shit. Oh, yes, he knows all. The Stoner Ganja Guru.
I was right beside him.
Oh.
Yeah, but you were supporting the whole idea of electric currency.
And you also said Mark Wahlberg's good, so yeah.
Ooh,
okay,
he did say
first of all, he is, and second of all, I was not for electric currency. What the fuck are you talking about?
Electric Avenue.
He wasn't down to Electric Avenue.
Dude, I was thinking that song the whole time during Monopoly.
He was about to argue with something that was complete bullshit, y'all.
I know, like, he's gonna argue with a joke.
I didn't register it until I was saying it out loud. I was like, what the fuck's electric currency?
I was so curious to see, like, what if he didn't, like, notice it was a joke and just kept on with his fucking argument?
I would just kept going, too. That just would have been great.
Yeah, got to be like, well, what about the water currency?
And, I mean, over here in the chat, Chris Brown, our chat attacker, Chris Brown, not the artist. He says, yeah, $25 to $35 a month, but free soda or something. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. A free
or at least a discount. I think a discount, like, if you up the price and make sure, like do what Humble does. If you get the monthly, which is, 11, or in my case, almost $15 a month, you get 10% off every single item ever, like in the store at all, which is why that's why I buy more stuff on there than Steam, because it's immediately cheaper. So it's like, yeah, do it like you get 15% off any concessions. People are more likely to buy a soda.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Most theaters don't make money off of the film anymore because I think they get less of the actual the ticket sales that are sold. And now Japan, I think almost like 90% or 80% of the movie theaters depend on concession stands. That's why half of them become a full-blown restaurants where you got to take a number and shit before you go to your movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Those are great.
Yeah. And that's the only way they can keep profitable because movie prices are, I think they are staying the same. But every time they increase it, it's for more reasons that they got to take on. Like, oh, we got to buy better cameras now because people want to buy IMAX seats. We got to get better seats now, so it's more cost towards movie theaters than actual film production.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Oh, and that's another thing too. Why not do a thing where MoviePass gets to go into IMAX for a certain price? You can bring your whole family.
Well, because then they'd have to increase the price of MoviePasses to justify that because of everything Ganja just said, and clearly nobody wants to pay more than $10 a month.
Yeah,
true. Yeah,
this is the Netflix syndrome. Everybody wants something for the cheap.
Yeah, or you know what?
Even if it makes no sense.
I mean, at this point, I would say fuck it, leave it the way it is, and just slowly start adding $1 over the years. So by the time 2022 starts, exactly, and then by the time 2022 comes along, your whole house is cheaper than your fucking.
That's called a balloon payment, and I loved for you to be in the fucking housing market because you would have been fucking made money 10 years ago doing that shit.
Oh man, I'm a sack of shit. I would make money anywhere. No, I mean.
I was gonna say, or just get rid of the movie pass and tell everyone to go fuck themselves and pay regular price.
All right, Jenny, that's badass. My local theater now lets you order pizza ahead of time, so it's ready for your film.
Oh, seriously, dude,
that's badass.
Man, I see people have like fucking pints of beer during a movie, man.
Damn, man, no, that's badass. But really quick, I'll make this really, really fast because I don't want to just sit here and talk shit all fucking day. But yes, Marvel executive hints at there being no more series added to Netflix slate. There is a God. There is.
Wait, so I'm not getting season 2 of The Punisher?
No, that's the thing. You're going to get that, and 3, and 4, and 5 most likely, because they realize that these characters, the way they've been doing them, are complete shit. Fuck every one of these boring fucking no character motherfuckers, man. Like, I honestly, I've talked to friends about this, and it made me hate it more. And now I just gotta admit it. Like, I fucking hate these characters. I hate Jessica Jones. I fucking hate Iron Fist. Daredevil. You fucked up with Defenders. I actually liked Daredevil, and he had to ruin that shit by dying.
First of all, bullshit. Second of all, Nick's friend is Amir.
No. I mean, he might as well be. But but the thing is like, yeah, I hate the shit. And then we don't even have to talk about fucking how much I can't stand Luke Cage, especially considering how great Black Lightning is. It's like, yes, they can do it right without being fucking we'll get into that later. I fucking hate Luke Cage. But the thing is, I think what a big situation is happening here is they're just like, listen, we got all these fucking stories coming up, all these characters, and we have our universe built for us. So let's just stop. No more adding more people. And let's just tell these stories. And especially, and Alan actually brought this up to me when I brought this up to him earlier today when he was like, yeah, maybe they're adding the new Marvel characters to their Disney streaming servers or whatever the case may be. Which I do think that can happen, but go ahead.
Yeah, basically what I don't know what it's called. It's probably just Disney Stream or Disney XD or some other bullshit. But like, it seems like what they're gonna do is, and Netflix seems like almost. I don't know if they even want to continue doing this stuff, but it seems like because I would like to see Moon Knight, Spider-Woman is actually something I really want to see as a thing because it's like it's you kind of have a similar idea to the Spider-Man stuff from a female perspective in a completely different part of the city, and I think that a Netflix series could do it great. And there's a bunch of other small heroes, so it's like. If this deal means that their streaming service is going to get it, good. Because honestly, I think that the biggest problem with the Netflix series is that they're half-cooked. They're like, we have half a good idea, half a good choreography, half a good person in the role, and let's just keep launching it into this quick fucking like succession. Because like the fact that season 2 of all these shows are already greenlit and they're filming, I'm like, no. You guys clearly did not have the time. If you're filming now, which means you were writing during Defenders. Defenders was not good. It was all right. It was middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like they're not spending enough time. So honestly, let Netflix do whatever the fuck they want. I'll still watch some of them at least just to make sure I have I'm up to date on my opinions. But I'm more interested to see if actually Disney's gonna do their own fucking versions of the shows because I want to see fucking Moon Knight and Spider-Woman.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like you said earlier too, because I'm reading this article as we discussed this and everything too, and I want to get Gonza's opinion on this as well. But yeah, even Dan Buckley, he was like, yeah, like we obviously want more Marvel television to currently go on Netflix, but we need to actually put this shit on Disney. I mean, over here, like Disney planning to launch their streaming service, we talked about that 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I think we were even late to that discussion. I mean, that was just something that was just constantly rotating around like the internet space. So, exactly. I mean, I'm really curious. And by the way, too, you're talking about like half-baked fucking episodes and half-done episodes. I think that's a big thing of like what Adrian's coming from as well when she was like, yeah, can we please stop with the 13 episodes thing? And I completely agree with her. Why is it 13 episodes?
Because it was a staple of Netflix for the longest. Everything they had was 13. So it's always like, oh man, because original like network television would be 22 to 26 episodes. That's double. And Netflix like, no, let's do it half because we want to make sure we can have tighter scripts. And it always felt that what they were doing with the comic book shows was a comic book run, 13 issues or something like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, every single one of them, except for maybe season one of Daredevil, every one of them could have been 10 episodes, and it would have been a better show as a result.
Yeah, I mean, do you agree with that same thing there, Ganja?
To a certain degree, honestly, I think they should focus more on developing the characters they do have at the moment, because I think I agree with Alan. I think they're introducing too many characters and not focus on them individually and actually flushing them out and giving them real character development, or giving the actors actual time to perform. They're just rushing into these things, almost like kind of what DC did, and trying to get themselves a universe within their own little sphere of Netflix, and that's not how to do it. A lot of people are trying to do the Marvel thing, but they forget Marvel planned their shit out almost 3 years in advance. To the point, even when they started adding stuff, it was very easy because they already had a set kind of guideline of what to go through. But the thing is, everyone's here is just trying to half-ass and be like, okay, we'll just do these half-ass connections from these movies here and these movies here, and we got a universe. And Netflix, they're not suffer for that because they're doing within the universe, not the universe, but the Marvel Universe brand. So they have something to work with. But the thing is, they're trying to flush out these characters so they can do their Avengers type series, The Defenders, which fell flat on its ass because they rushed it. Now I want to see individual characters, and I want to see the Punisher get more seasons as well, because that show was great.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, I know you like this show a lot, and I don't, but I mean, yeah, like I do think. I mean, like I do. I like lots of things about the show, and I think it'll get better as we go on. But it's just like them building the characters. I was like, yeah, I could have sworn we already built this fucking dude already. And I know that people are gonna like, maybe people didn't watch Daredevil season 2 because Daredevil season 1 was not good enough. So it's like, okay, I get that. But now we're done with building. I mean, can we please like get to a Punisher that just
I don't know if
you're
ever done with building a character, because we introduced him in Daredevil season 2, and I'd say honestly most people watch it because Daredevil season 1 was critically acclaimed. You're never really done building a character. Like in season 2, it's like, okay, now we're establishing him on his own, and what it is we're essentially closing a circle of what we started. That's what season 1 of Daredevil was. Sorry, season 1 of Punisher. We started half a circle in season 2, and in his own standalone, we completed it. My favorite line in Punisher season 1 is the ending where he goes, "I don't have a war to fight, I'm scared," and it cuts right there. Because we finished that, and now season 2, what the hell is he's gonna grow? Now he no longer has a war to fight. How is he gonna live his life?
Exactly.
Right.
No, I completely agree with you with that. And like I said, man, like I'm digging certain things about these shows, and it's like, okay, so since they're not going to be building these worlds anymore, and we're just going to go forward with what we already have and just do something entertaining, maybe there might be something cool. Maybe Iron Fist season 2 will be fucking amazing. Who knows?
But I'll watch it and let you know, because I already sat through season 1, and I'll bear the cross again.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I don't know what the fuck the deal is gonna be, but yeah, like apparently that's happening, and we'll see how that's going to affect the rest of Netflix, honestly, because those are the only shows I actually give a fuck about to go to Netflix and actually watch. Like, I mean,
I doubt it'll hit them that hard. I'm sure they're probably gonna be okay with, like, okay, cool. Like, I feel like they might even get the chance to do more. Like, it's weird. They do have a lot of, like, they don't have a lot of limits, but maybe they'll be able to get less limits now because Disney's like, yeah, we're gonna do our own thing. You do whatever the fuck you want. But honestly, most people go for like other stuff. Like, I'm watching a tons of shit on Netflix, so it's like people are always gonna find something on there.
Yeah, but now, people, it's time for that moment. It's time for some pixel picks, and gotta tell you, man, I am really enjoying a certain fucking video game. And I'm gonna show this right now. Ooh, yes, it is. What is it? This shit ain't working. Man, I don't know.
Come on, baby. What you gotta do is you gotta unplug. Damn, I'm real close to the camera. Hold on.
Damn, okay, man, Jesus Christ.
I'm about to damn near pop into people's keyboards and attack their chat. No, but the thing is, guys, I don't know what's going on, Nick. I think you should just unplug it, blow it on it, and then put it back in.
Right, that never worked.
Oh,
that never worked.
Oh, yes, and we're just going to put it right there for now because I just don't give a fuck. No, actually, we'll put it like this. Okay, sorry about that, people. We're working on the show. Look at that. Entertaining the folks. Oh, man, I took you out the phone and everything. What is going on here, sir?
I'm out the box, bitches!
Oh, get your ass back.
Now he's back in. Shut the fuck up.
Alan's always trying to put me in the box. You don't put baby in the box.
Man. Jesus Christ.
Easily.
Hey, bitch, I'm the only one that wear black shirts on this program. What the fuck?
Wait, okay, first of all,
whoa,
this is the Pixel Pix shirt.
God, okay, I know it sound gay, man, but you look really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's almost like black is sibling. Oh.
What'd you say?
I fucked the word a slimming and I said sliming, so apparently your shirt is very sliming for you.
I know, I'm gonna slime all over that motherfucker looking that good. It's a slip slide.
Why is the only people that ever hit on me are my co-hosts and they're both male?
I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry.
They're not accepting sexual assault now on females. I don't know if you saw it, but the new movie is Call Me Maybe, so I'm grooming you for a same-sex relationship, even though it's going to acquire some assault in it.
Call me by your screen name.
Why?
Birdman. Dude, I would love that. A technologically fucking modern Call Me by Your Name. I would love that shit. Fucking talent. Fuck Italy.
It'll be a Black Mirror episode, season 8.
Dude, yes. Anyways, people, no. This fucking game over here, dude. I didn't know you had this Monster World Hunter, Monster Hunter World.
Monster World Hunter. I love that. We gotta have planets.
Dude, I keep fucking that up. I've been saying it wrong this whole entire time since the game's been out, man. I apologize, but
just to prove it, I do have the literal. Okay, make sure. Yeah, I literally have it. So.
Okay, and actually, I'm gonna put you full right now. Go and show it again, baby. Show it again. Yes. God damn. And that probably costs less than $60.
Don't talk about it.
Wait, actually, really quick. Did you get that Amazon Prime so it was cheaper, or did you pay full price for
No, what it was I had a bunch of Xbox 360 games that I knew I was never ever going to touch again, and they had a deal going on at the EB Games in my location where if you trade 7 things in that are worth about $3, you get an extra $30 towards it, and I had some other stuff to trade in, so I was able to get it. Like I did have to basically pay full price for it, but I was able to trade stuff in, so I didn't have to pay a penny.
Okay, no, that's cool. And like I said, man, this game, honestly, and it's kind of cool because like now a lot of these things I'm seeing now as I've been playing the game, I can actually see like, oh, like this is different, that's different, like this I actually seen this like in the game. So I'm telling you, people, like these characters that they show in this trailer, like usually I'm just showing this because it is a trailer and it looks the best, obviously, but the characters look just like that in the game. Like they really act like they do, and they, I don't know, it's fucking great, and I like the cutscenes in game as well too. But right away, man, were you hyped for this game? Because I never played Monster Hunter before, so yeah.
It's funny because the only Monster Hunter I ever played was on the 3DS, Monster Hunter 4, I think, and I was like, it's okay. I have my problems. I'm not really loving it. I played it, then I kind of just like, I'll trade it in. I want to put this towards an actual game I want to play. Then I saw what they were doing at E3 and Sony's early 2018-2017 press conference, and I saw Monster Hunter there. I was like, oh, what's this? Oh, shit. Okay, they're actually putting on PS4. It's actually going to have incredible graphics. I get to use actual controller. I don't have to sit there and, actually hold my 3DS to play this fucking huge game. I'm like, you know what? I want to give it a chance. Let me play the beta. And I played the beta. I was like, wow, I'm loving this. I'm liking the huge open world. I'm loving the visuals. I'm loving the attack. Like the one I have is the Iron Blade, and it's basically like this big two-handed almost spear thing that has 2 ends, and it lets me jump in the air and do cool shit. Lets me do like area effect attacks. I'm like, I'm having a great time with this. Then I picked it up. I'm like, I'm loving this. It's my only real issue is it's almost like you've never played a video game in your life. The tutorial of this game. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, go talk to this guy because he's a smithy. Figure out what a smithy does. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can guess what a smithy does. No, talk to
you don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest, man. God had to explain this shit to me with Ark. Like God literally had to be like, "Yo,
yeah, but that's different though. That's building. Man, like there's subtleties to that, man.
What is a smithy, man? Does he work with horses? Like, people don't know, Alan. So you gotta explain it.
I know, but it's so tutorialized where I'm just skipping like okay. It's not as bad as like a Legend of Zelda thing where it's like press X to talk to me. It's like who talks like that in real life? But it was very very heavily tutorialized. But once I got past that,
I was just thinking that in my head too. I was like, man, press the action button, Snake.
Yeah, dude, I laughed my ass off. I've never heard that in dialogue. So the first time it's like press the action button, I laughed my fucking ass off. I just put the controller down and walked. I was just like, I gotta laugh right now. But the thing is once I got past all that, I was like, I'm having fun fighting the monsters because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of the smaller monsters, a lot of the bigger monsters. And I was just having fun just jumping around, dodging to the left, dodging to the right, jumping on some of the monsters and landing on them. I'm like, this is fucking a lot of fun. Like, I could see why people were loving the hell out of this. So it's like, I want to keep going with this. It's one of the, this, I guess the first game I bought this year, and I'm having a great fucking time playing it.
How did you feel with the character creator? Because I heard it's pretty in-depth.
It's actually really in depth. It's funny because Gotchu always calls me out for this, and I don't give a fuck. But
bitch.
I play so many video games, and yeah, more often than not, when you're playing a single player campaign that's not an RPG, the main character is a male. So what I try to do with RPGs, I try to make a female character because I want to just change things up. This time, yeah, whatever. Call me bitch. I don't give a fuck.
He likes to change it up, ladies and gentlemen.
Whatever. I don't fucking care. I like to diversify. The thing is I did do that so often. When Monster Hunter came out, I'm like, you know what? Let me see what the male character creator is like, because usually it's not as in depth. But as soon as I saw that the guy basically had my exact hair thing, I'm like, no, I'm gonna make myself in the game. And I thought I got pretty close. Like I would send it to Nick or something, but it's a bad image. I'll take a photo of it, maybe post it on Facebook at some point. But I was able to kind of make something with a similar thing. I'm like, I actually kind of like this because they give you, because most games they'll like either give you a goatee or they'll give you a mustache or a full beard. This is like, no, we actually have different things. They even have for one for Ganja, Baby Smooth. And I liked how they did that with the hair. I liked how they did that I could move around the eyes and all that stuff. I'm like, this is really, really good. This is up there with the Mass Effect and the Skyrim character creation.
No, man, and I actually agree with that because one thing I really hate about video games is, and God, dude, like this happens in wrestling games all the time too, in GTA. Oh, and Saints Row for sure, but the character creation when you get into cutscenes and stuff, it's so obvious you do not belong in this world.
Like, not if you do it like really, really terribly.
Yeah, but sometimes like you'll do something like your hair, like all you did was pick like the black they gave you for your hair or your brown, whatever. But they literally, it looks like someone got a fucking one of those like wet like markers and like colored your hair. I mean, it's so super dark black.
Yeah, some games don't do it well at all.
Yeah, like Saints Row does it really bad, where it's like, you know, even when he's walking around and I don't know, like he doesn't even fit in certain areas. If you put too much weight in his arm or something, it's like,
you did the okay. I never fucked with the weight. You did the whole making the big guys. I just I kept the weight the same, but I'd always change up their face and the hair and the beard. That's like the things I would always fuck with.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of things that are wrong with the games. In this game, when I made my character, I was like, dude, he's part of the lore. Like, he looks like he's in this fucking world. Like, he looks great.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of impressive to do so much rendering on your characters where if you create somebody, they don't look like you added it on. It looks like it was there this whole time. And I don't know, I thought that was pretty impressive. Now
I agree 100%.
Now, when I played the beta, I hated this fucking game. I'm going to put that out there right now. I played it with somebody that's in the chat, and I was pretty fucking pissed off and screaming in that person's ear. Because for one, I couldn't fucking see. I was looking at the font, and even with this game coming out, too, the font still needs some work. And I hate the fact that you can't go in and actually change the fucking font. Like, there's certain times where, like, if you give somebody, like, digits to come and join your call or join your game party with numbers, which... You know, in a beta, you had to do that. With the actual game, you don't have to do that, so that's pretty cool. But when you had to, and if you plan on doing that for, like, I don't know, like one of these MCA Plus things or a Facebook gaming show, whatever the case may be, people are going to have to read that shit. And they put the longest Nintendo-style fucking passcodes on these fucking things.
Friend codes! 16 digits! Good luck memorizing this, bitch.
And literally, like, they'll have, like, a capital I next to, like, a lowercase L. They'll have, like, C's that look like E's. Like, what the fuck, man?
I see your... Okay, I got a question for you. Do you play this on a TV or a monitor?
TV. Big fucking TV. Right in front of my face.
I think is honestly the problem because I didn't notice... I honestly didn't see a problem with the font because I have a PC monitor that I use for both my computer gaming and my PS4. Like, they're connected to the same thing. Like, if I did a round of my room, you could actually see that. I never even noticed that because of the fact that, like, my monitor has such a high pixel density. I could just see everything super small. But I could see if you're sitting like super far back and you might not be able to read it, but like I didn't personally see that as a problem, but I could definitely see a fucking friend digit code being a fucking problem. Like I hate that shit when we have to do it in fucking Rocket League. We're like, oh, we got a room and we got to fucking do all this code shit. It's like, no, just let me join a friend's fucking thing. Like, let me just join a party. Like, make it fast.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that's frustrating to me too is like, even when doing that, because like, listen, like, just to put this out there before anyone calls me on this shit, because like you don't have to do this. You don't have to put the code in now with the game coming out. But in the beta, or even in the game now, when you actually decide to do so, at least in Rocket League, you get to choose what your password is, what your username is for people to come in, and you can make the password be 123, and they can come in. This, it gives you the passcode, and you have to use what they give you, and it's like, oh, fuck you, really? Like, I just want to play with my fucking friends, man.
Is it the same passcode? Like, is this situation like literally like a Nintendo friend code where my code is 1 to 8 and yours is like 8 to 12 or something?
No, it literally just changes every time.
Oh, that's annoying as hell.
Yeah, so how the fuck you keep track of people if you're in a different level?
Well, that's a cool thing is like with the new game coming out, you can just join the party. I can be like, hey Ganja, like press, send an invite to Ganja, and then you say yes, and then you come in, and it's easy. But before the beta, you couldn't do that. And if we ever do something like when we do on the show, like a live stream, like on here, and someone wants to join us, and we give them a passcode, I'm sorry, but I can guarantee you half the people that want to join us are not going to be able to get in. It'll be fucking impossible.
Yeah, just when the servers are.
just like how long it takes for them to get in, and then any kind of mistake you make, and it's easy to make mistakes. Imagine how long we're gonna have to wait for somebody to come and fucking join us. We'll do a live stream of us waiting for an hour before we actually start playing.
I'll say this, man. I don't care. That digit could be the length of pi. I don't fucking care. It is still easier than Bloodborne's fucking stupid retarded system. Okay, pick an area in which one of your characters has already beat it. Ring this fucking bell at a specific interval. Make sure that you're less than 10 levels above or below the person you're trying to join. That person cannot have beaten the same level you have beaten. You have to actually go to them. Oh my god. You look online, it's like a Wikipedia page on how to actually get into their fucking game.
Yeah, man, it's fucking ridiculous. But then I love that you brought Bloodborne up because that game pissed me off, and this game does something similar, but in a good way. They fix it. What they do basically is you can set on SOS flare, and anyone who knows the SOS flare can just join in, and it's super simple. And I think that's what Bloodborne was trying to do, but this did it right. No, you don't think they were trying to do that?
Bloodborne, like the only reason that the whole co-op shit bothers me is because when they advertised it, it was like advertised as co-op. So I'm like, oh. They're probably going to fix it because this has always been a problem ever since Dark Souls games. Because what they want to do in the Dark Souls is they want you, like one solitary unit, to be fighting the giant monsters. Monster Hunters, it's always kind of been about getting a group of people. So I understand that it's super easy because it's always been about, oh man, this 50-foot monster, how am I going to beat it? I can't do it myself. I'm one guy. Hey, I have 5 friends that know how to play the game. Let's all gang up and actually try to take this out. It's always been about the teamwork. So I get that they probably have simple, like I saw the SOS flare too. I just didn't use it because I want to play the game myself first. But I could totally imagine someone going, "Oh shit, I need some backup. Let me call my bro in," and then they come in, fucking Yeah,
it's so easy. That's why I like it. Because you said, you want to play the game first, but there will be a time where like, "Oh fuck, I can't do this." Sound SOS.
I call you, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And everyone on your friend list will get it, and boom, you come in, and so. And by the way, servers. Look, I love Grand Theft Auto 5. I fucking love that game. But goddamn it, those servers! I've been trying. How many times have you tried to play with 90s and Alan and all those guys?
God,
I mean.
I used to think the problem was with Grand Theft Auto is I had no one to play the whole 4 players with. I always only had 1 or 2. But when we had Nick come in and we couldn't get a game going, I was like, man, this is the fucking worst server system ever created by God.
I recently played it on PS4 with my friend, and it took my friend 25 minutes to get in and almost just gave up and said, fuck it, I'm not playing with y'all tonight.
Yeah, man, it's fucking frustrating. In this game, so much shit to do in this game, so much things going on, so much not inconsistencies, but so much just variables, and yet it works just fine. I mean, I've had not one issue. You're gonna get mad at the servers because the servers died that day it was released because both they released a fighting game and Monster Hunter on the same day, and apparently the Sony servers went down for like 3 hours. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Because think about it. Imagine if they released Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto on the same day.
Yeah, goddamn. So, I mean, it's amazing that's the case because I didn't even know about this game, and yeah, this is amazing. I love this fucking thing. When it comes to, and by the way, too, like we bring up Bloodborne, Dark Souls, things like that. This game does like to be hard, and everyone who loves this game says, "Oh, it's so difficult. It's great when you die." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus, it's one of those fucking things."
It's not that bad, honestly.
It really isn't because you don't lose everything when you die. You actually keep some shit, and you get rewarded for spending your time with the fucking game. And I love that. I love that you can go and collect things and do certain things, and even if you die, it's like, well, hey, at least you got this shit and that shit.
Yeah.
Every time I do something, I feel achieved. Every time I spend any kind of minutes into this game, I'm like, huh, good thing I did that. Now I'm this closer to doing something else. Like, it's really, really cool.
Oh, yeah. I like it, too, because, when I was going through, I'm trying to find these monsters. I'm like, oh, man, a herb. Oh, man, another herb. I can make potions? Shit, I can't wait to get it. Grab a rock, grab this, grab that. Because it's one of my favorite things. I love open-world exploring games because I like just wandering around and doing stuff. And with this, it's always something to do. I like this kind of, I almost want Nines to play this because it seems like it's the kind of game where it's you get to go, hunt down monsters, cook your own food, live your own life. And it's almost like you're, basically living life of camping. You can do a lot of the monster hunting stuff, but you can just explore too. And the world is massive and it looks beautiful. My only real legitimate complaint with the game is I feel that the targeting I feel like the targeting is only focusing the camera. It doesn't focus the character. Because I could still be pointing the other way and attacking while the camera's focused. And I feel like it's what it is because I'm so new to this and I've never played this before. But right now, it's that's my only thing of it's really hard to aim at a specific monster sometimes because I feel like I'm aiming the wrong way. But I'm sure once I practice, I get used to it, I'll have a lot more fun. But that's really my only legitimate complaint. I don't think the camera focuses the character enough. It just focuses the camera.
And I think it sticks to its own aura of control schemes. I feel like,
exactly.
honestly, it should have stuck to something that, like, I mean, come on, like, Z-targeting is one of the simpler things about these video games that come out, and you guys made that shit confusing. Like, I hit R3, and it has a max of 2 enemies that you can go, like, R3 at, like in Z-target, but then it makes it even more variable because you can aim at certain places on a monster. I can be looking at his arm, or his butt, or his tail, and I'm like, okay, well, when I press R3 again to get out of this, I don't know. I'm so busy doing a bunch of shit. I don't know that you just move to a different piece of a slate not to turn off Z-targeting. So I gotta like press R3 8 times to get out of the whole fucking thing. And by the time I'm like all rapidly pushing it and I'm all stressed out, I just went right back into targeting again, and I'm stuck on the dinosaur and can't get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean?
Sometimes it randomly goes from it's not that it cycles between targets randomly, and it's like I think that's really the only problem. But honestly, that's a quick bug fix. Like if this situation, they'll probably release something in the next couple of weeks where it's like, here's a list of bug fixes. We fixed the camera, we fixed some of the frame rates. Like that to me, there's nothing inherently broken about this game. There's just a few things that need to be tweaked.
My question is, how fucking Japanesey is it?
Honestly,
really.
It's not. It's weird. It's okay. The best way to sum this up is it's like Naruto. Not like it's not super Japanesey, but everyone's like having a good time. Everyone's like, yeah, we're heroic. We're gonna take out the monsters. It's very, I don't know. It's very upbeat. It's very Naruto-ish. Like if you remember watching Naruto, it's like when Naruto's upbeat, it's very similar to that.
Yeah.
Now I want to just put out. Tay brought up a great question I want to ask. There's a talking fucking cat in this game.
There's talking cats.
Why?
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if your fucking partner. Okay. There are cats in this game. Basically, what it is the cats are like they're basically like sentient beings, but they're straight cats. They're not like the cat girl bullshit. They're actually legitimately cats that walk upright and you have conversations with. And one of your partner gets to be a cat. And basically, your partner helps gather some items, keep a few items. He's basically like your little buddy. And I'm mad because you can't pick a fucking other animal. I want a fucking bird. I don't want a fucking cat.
You might get that at some point.
Birds don't scream epic adventure. Even Lord of the Rings used them at the end.
Pirates have birds all the time. There is
lore. Yeah, but that's pirates. That's different.
Lore in real life. There are legitimate records from captains of naval vessels that say if you're fighting a pirate, attack the fucking bird first.
Because the what?
Because parrots will fuck you up and distract you. Think about it. You're fighting with a sword. Parrot goes, "What the fuck?" You already got a knife in the throat. So
yeah, I feel like that was just somebody that was very drunk on rum.
No. This has been like naval records. Like the birds will fuck you up, man.
Yeah, no, they really will. And in the game, I'm sure you're gonna get those at some point too. By the way, I think you're not gonna be stuck with the Palicos or whatever. Like
I think you are. Like it feels like you might be. Like maybe someone else has played maybe someone that's played in the chat. Let us know if that happens, because it feels like this is a building on the old Monster Hunter stuff, and I think you've had them. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate cats, but I wish you had you change animal like a dog or a bird. Like I wish you had different animals. I wish it wasn't just cats.
Well, you know how Japan and weeaboos love cats.
I know. It's too much to ask.
Yeah, but man, like I said, like this world is fucking great though. Like I mean, and I will say, get him Monster World, fuck you. But yeah, like the cat though, I do agree that like like what Ganja said, I understand that like it is a little silly that it's such a cat, and I understand where the Alan's coming from where you should have animals, but at the same time it's like we got to make sure that those DLCs when they come up that we're gonna get these, and they did say by the way too, Monster Hunter actually put this thing out on IGN and a few other things where they're like, yeah, we're not gonna be charging you for DLC, like I mean not like cosmetic DLC, we're not gonna be doing.
Yeah. Most the Monster Hunter, what they do most DLC is like. They'll be like, hey, here's a bunch of costumes they'll release periodically, and then what they'll do is they'll do big expansions. And honestly, from what I know, their expansions are usually extra land masses and monsters, like huge monsters to fight. So to keep the game going, like real DLC should.
And by the way,
my question is like, is that a new trend now? Like everyone's getting away from the DLCs, not DLCs, but the microtransaction? Because wasn't there another game that recently got
Destiny
2? Yeah, Destiny 2, and then there was another one that's a big title coming out soon that they got rid of the whole microtransaction for idea.
I don't know what that second game you're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think I know what you're talking about. I've seen a bunch of stuff on Facebook. But to answer Ganja's question, it's like it's getting to the point where it's like people like game companies, especially when they're making expensive games, they do need to make sure that they can get extra content. But what they want to do is they're essentially doing what we actually said about the pass. It's like when you buy your game at whatever price, make sure that it's worth the price of admission. But because a lot of games need extra funds, give people the free cosmetics because cosmetics can be done at any point. And then the big DLCs we're working on, we're going to charge people because that'll help make us the income. So it's like, I think people are moving more to the fact that they're going to give people a lot of DLC, half free, half paid.
Yeah, man. And here's the biggest thing, too, to just bring
the game is called Kingdom Come Deliverance, by the way.
Oh, yeah, Deliver Us. Yeah.
Yeah, deliver us from evil. The microtransactions.
Deliver us from microtransactions.
You're still right.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one, too. When's that come out? Like next month?
Yeah, I think so.
But this thing, and like just this frame over here that I'm playing on, like one thing I love about this game too, and I fucking like one thing that scares me when people say like, "Oh, it's open world," just like Mad Max was and shit like that, is that it's fucking empty. It's like, oh, open world, and there ain't nothing going on. That's fucking worth, traveling and locating shit. This game, there is not fucking 5 steps that you can take without there's something to grab. Like as far as an herb or a fucking flower or a mushroom or
dick.
Or a cock, penis, vagina. No, but like I'm serious. It's really cool. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way with that, Alan, or no.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree. Like I said, like I was like, it's one of those things where it reminds me of Horizon Zero Dawn a lot, where it's like every 5 seconds, oh man, leaf, stick, stone. I gotta kill that animal to get meat. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Like I love this because I can see myself just like, let me just randomly like not go on a mission. Let me just go out in the world and get stuff. Because what this game does, it does what I love about RPGs, what I love about open world games, where it's like it gives me a bunch of stuff to do without necessarily saying you have to do this. It's like I can go upgrade my stuff. How do I do that? I got to find these materials. Where are the materials? Oh, they're in the world. So let me do a few missions. Let me go explore the world and get a good idea so I can upgrade my weapon. I can get new armors. I can fight new monsters. Like this is something I could definitely see myself playing this for like 80, 90 hours easily and not be bored by it. Like this is one of those things where it's like, I got an hour. Let me play some Monster Hunter.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta tell you one thing too that I could touch on before we get to our ratings real quick. I'm sorry if I'm doing a lot of typing over here and whatnot, people, but one thing I have to compare this to, and I don't want this to be the new Walking Dead thing that we do, where I just bring this up all the fucking time. You're probably going to guess what this is, but yeah, Cuphead. One thing I need to explain, this game, every fucking time someone talks about this game, they're like, oh, it's beautiful, and it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's so fucking hard. Like, I'm sorry, but a couple of extra inches is going to really fucking hurt. And I ain't gonna
Nick, when I do the year 3 edit of the MCA, I am straight putting a counter for the amount of times you talk about Cuphead.
I thought you were talking about dick.
Yeah, I know what you said.
No, that's your counter.
No, man, but this game. So my issue with this game, right? It's fun and it's
really. What's your issue, Dick? You never mentioned it.
Well, no, it's hard, but like on top. Fuck you, gotcha. What? Fuck you guys. No, the thing is, with this game, it's so difficult. It's so difficult, you fuck, that like. You end up playing, and by the way, God, it's short. And the game is short and it's hard because.
So it's a chode, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the thing is, like, the reason why this game is such a long game to play is the fact that like you have to keep playing the same levels over and over again, and that's what I fucking hate. It's most of fucking gameplay. It's just you doing the first few levels, and I can't stand that. This game gives you a reason to play those other levels. If you notice, on Monster Hunter, on Monster Hunter World, as we're talking about. You will beat a boss, and then you'll go into the next thing. And it's like, okay, I can't beat him. I gotta go back to the other boss. But on top of that, I gotta like loot his fucking hide and his shells and his tail and all this other shit that this dude has because I gotta use it to fight the next boss.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's reasons why you would go back and play this game, which makes it even longer, yes, and harder.
I just came back, man. God damn.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where you kind of say where it's like, it's because there are games like The Witcher, which has a huge world, the most gigantic, one of the biggest worlds I've ever made in a thing, and you have little things interspersed in there to keep you going. Mm-hmm. What this game does is it's smaller scale. It's still huge, but it's smaller scale relative to a lot of other games. But they make it incredibly dense. So why are you laughing? Lord, I don't even know what I said. I chose my words carefully. Anyway. There's so much to do in the little space, like you said, but there's also reasons for you to keep going back. You're always going to find herbs. You're always going to need potions. You're always going to need to, because maybe you want to save your money to buy the armor, so you want to make a lot of stuff yourself, or maybe you just like crafting like me. So it's like there's always something for you to do, and that's what I really, really enjoy about this. Like honestly, like people are like I heard a bunch of people say Game of the Year, and it's like I could see that. Even I mean it's way too early, but no game is going to beat Spider-Man Spider-Man PS4. I can't wait for that.
I'm sorry, the chat had me rolling because they all got stuck on short, hard, and beautiful.
That's a good way to sum me up. That's anyway, but like I said, honestly, like this isn't my game of the year because the year literally just started. But honestly, I can see myself putting this easily, like right now, in my top 10. I don't know where yet because I haven't bought 10 games this year, but I can see myself putting this in my top 10. I will mute your ass. Jesus Christ.
Yo, JP actually got me too, because JP says the parade of...
Can you guys... Okay, chat. Whenever I'm talking, stop being funny.
Oh, I love the chat, man. The chat's fucking hilarious. But
yeah,
Cuphead is hard.
Chris Brown is confused. So Cuphead is hard and long. Is that what we're talking about? Cuphead, right?
No, goddamn it. Fuck you guys. But no, like, dude, honestly, you saying that, and I don't blame you for saying that too, Alan, about the whole like this should be, you know, in your top 10. Because I feel like, yeah, like in 8 months or something, dude, we're gonna still be playing this, and we're also gonna be saying like, yeah, this is our top 10 of the
yeah. Like I don't know where, so I don't want to say that. Oh, it's number 1, number 2. It's like I'm hoping. I honestly hope Spider-Man PS4 comes out this fucking year. I really do.
And keep in mind, I was ready to talk shit about this game because I hated that beta so fucking much. I was so ready. I was like, yeah, come fucking suck, you motherfucker. I got your ass. And honestly, after 2 missions, I was like, you know what? Fuck, I can feel it. I'm getting a little bit addicted. Like after we're done with this, you guys are gonna see me on PSN. I'm playing this shit. Like as soon as we're done.
Oh yeah, I've been playing it.
Oh yeah, you've been seeing me. I had it on all fucking night. Like, you know, it's just I'm loving this shit, and I can't wait to explore more, and you know, other things that are long and hard. I like to explore things that are long and hard. Ganja, you fucking dummy. But yeah, what would you rate this though out of 5, bro?
2 minutes.
I know. Lord. I just want.
Honestly, out of 5 right now, I'd say it's a solid. Honestly, yeah, solid. It's a 3.5, but it's a strong ass 3.5. The reason I'm not giving it higher is because it's so early. Like right now, like I always have my rule of like you can tell if you're gonna like a game within the first hour. I played about 3 hours and I fucking love it, but I still feel that there's still a lot to learn. So when I say the solid 3.5, I mean it's like holy shit. It is like if this was on our buy it rent it scale, honestly, this is a buy it. This is right up there with the buy it. It's a low buy it because again I've only played a couple of hours and I still feel like I'm learning stuff. I haven't explored much of stuff, but it's like. I want to go back and play it more, so honestly, this is a buy it. Like, if you want to wait for a PSN sale, you can go ahead and do it if you have a coupon to get it. But honestly, just buy this whenever you can. You're going to have a great time with it, even if you've never played a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, no, you really will. And you're going to get your fucking money's worth. You're going to get your time's worth.
Exactly.
There's not a minute that went by with this game that I felt like, man, I shouldn't have played that. Honestly, more so than Ark. Ark was my favorite game last year, technically because it was on PS4, and it was my favorite game technically of 2015. You know what I mean? I know people are going to be like, oh, it didn't come out then, asshole, pre-alpha.
It did, assholes.
Not really. If that's the case, no, that's some bullshit, man. I'm sorry. If that's the case, then Resident Evil 4 came out
got off on the technicality, Alan. We can accept them here.
Yeah, you're right. Resident Evil 4 was my favorite game of 2016.
Exactly.
And 2017, and 2018, and 2019, and 2020. No,
2020.
Forever.
That's my favorite game of 1999. I don't know how, but it was there.
I believe it.
Thought. But no, like yeah, this so far is my favorite game of 2018, and it puts some faith back into the gaming industry. Now I'm not gonna say that everything's great again, but
you say that every day, man. You're like, oh man, this game is fit the industry. One minor inconvenience later, man, fuck the industry. Man, you go back and forth so often. You might as well make it a living.
I do go back, and I do make it a living, unfortunately. But the thing is, yeah, I would give this definitely a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
You know, and as far as like buying it, whatever the fuck, like even if I gave this a 2 out of 5, the fact that you have so much shit to do right away, even in tutorial, you were so busy doing a bunch of shit. This is a strong buy it. I never said even movies or games. I never had a stronger buy it. You really, if you were even slightly interested in this fucking game, you'll be satisfied. But for me, 4 out of 5 because, like I said, I wish we had more guns. That's all. I just want to drive. Yeah, more guns. I want guns. Like I know we have the gun lance.
It's not a gun game.
True, but like man, maybe make some DLC. I got like a gat or whatever, and it can turn it sideways. And pop.
You're never gonna get like a fucking pistol or something Ganja wants to fire. But you basically get this thing, and it's called a gun lance. And what it is, it's like a cannon. Okay, Ganja, this is something I have to say about this game is really, really funnily stupid sometimes. Because there's a thing called a gun lance. It's a huge fucking lance with a cannon on it.
It's pretty cool.
Fucking retarded.
Oh, it's fucking cool. Glorious, though.
Yeah. And they have different types of those, like assault lance or whatever the fuck too, and it's like boom, like it's like a machine gun thing.
Yeah, that's the closest thing you're gonna get to a gun in the game.
Yeah, fuck that idea. That's the whole. I hate the whole idea in fucking. I think it was Final Fantasy where they gave one of the characters a sword pistol. I always thought that was fucking retarded.
Then don't play Lost Planet 2 because they have a gun sword.
It's kind of cool. What's wrong? By the way, before the Civil War, they had guns that had those fucking knife things at the end of it.
Those are called bayonets.
Those were great.
You're exclusively for stabbing once, and that's it.
It was supposed to be used when you're out of ammo.
Or up close and personal.
Yeah, or just to be a dick. And then also, too, there was and Call of Duty World War II actually has, they told you they have red dots on old school guns that never fucking had the red dots in there, too.
Don't get me started
when it comes to video games, we do not need to follow these fucking rules, ladies and gentlemen.
Or you do what Battlefield does, and you know what they use for fucking scopes on guns? You know what they use for scopes on fucking guns? Literal telescopes. They literally refashion a telescope and snap it to a fucking side of a goddamn sniper, and it looks like garbage, and it's great.
See, this is what he wants you all to play this fucking game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Battlefield. I want you to have a good time with it.
Yeah.
I would love to have a good time with it if they fucking fix their PC servers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, the thing is everyone plays it on console.
So why? Okay, so all right, everyone buys it on console, so I'm gonna rip off all these people that buy it on PC. Okay, gotcha, Alan. That's a great business model.
On PC. That's a problem. No one really buys it on PC.
That's a great business model for a company. Hey, let's screw off these other consoles that want to buy the system as well.
Yeah, because guess what? A majority of 90% of their income comes from consoles, and with their PC is if it's not being pirated, people don't have that long. Don't really play that long, especially multiplayer games, unless you're like an anomaly like Counter-Strike or Overwatch. Anyway,
but as we continue on, though, really quick, I got a question for you, Mr. Gotcha Guru.
Yeah.
Can you show me the way as far as this?
Show me the way.
Because apparently, you guys are playing Ready Player One. Man, this VR chat thing that you guys have been playing, how is it?
Honestly, it is Ready Player One. If anyone tells you that it's not, they're lying out of their fucking ass. Because it's one of those things, as soon as you go in, you choose your avatar, and it's like, I just chose a default knight because I just played the game. You walk around, and I saw Death, like from, not Death, Reaper from fucking Overwatch in a pink tutu, and my first thought goes, you are fucking gay. And he goes, what is wrong with being gay? That's actually his accent. What is wrong with being gay? And I'm like, look up the British and then call me.
No, man.
That was a bad joke, and you know it, sir.
Great joke, and I know it.
No, man, but I gotta say, dude, and yeah, I'm just gonna pick random stock images from this fucking movie because this whole VR chat thing is making me not want to see this fucking movie. And Ganja, here's the thing, dude. I know you've been.
Why do you not like the way? Do you not have a queen to show you the way?
Oh Lord!
Oh my God! So
it took us 5 seconds, by the way.
Maybe
5 seconds to be one.
Maybe I must do it in the name of my people. Has my chant intrigued you to the player one yet? Nick, has it?
No, I never have.
Then I spit on you.
Wow, you fucking planned that shit perfectly, you dumbass motherfucker.
Yes, I did, sir. Yes, I did. You fell for it, and I just showed you the way.
I hate you all.
But here's the thing, man. You've been playing a lot of VR chat. Now, I mean, is it really worth it?
I've been playing VR chat. I've been playing the tabletop VR because the thing with VR chat, it's still a little bit hard to play for the desktop because you're looking around and it's a little bit disorienting because you have to use a mouse to walk and select things. So it's not as user-friendly as it is if you're just having a headset VR. But we've been playing tabletop VR, and that's been fun for me and actually wanted me to get into a VR system. We've been playing Monopoly, Uno. We're actually going to try – this is what we're talking about doing the RPG game for Fallout and try to get into, like, those board games like this, for example, where they have actual animated characters.
Ooh, hockey. I love that.
I did not see the air hockey. We got to play that next. But it's kind of like – it's basically like everybody has this 1,000 board game system on the computer.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, but like bowling too. I want this. I want this now. Yeah. I want to play with y'all. I want to fuck y'all up.
I want to play whatever the hell that is with the fucking tree and the actual animations.
That's like true Dungeons and Dragons. Like we have to come up with our own story and shit.
What the fuck is a banana game? What?
Oh yeah, you can play with your people's and your friends bananas and just like.
Duck game. You son of a bitch. Fuck was that?
What?
That was free time.
You didn't see the duck and a bunch of bottles? What the fuck am I looking at?
Listen, that's a pool table, sir. What's your problem?
Oh, wait, they have pool?
Oh, shit, never mind. Damn.
Okay, whoa, Gotcha, they have pool?
I didn't know they have pool.
Why the fuck were we playing Monopoly?
Why the fuck are you playing Tabletop Simulator? There's pool games on Yahoo you can play for fucking free.
Yeah, he's got a point. Like, if we want to play
pool,
but
I play the fuck out of Pool Nation with my friends on Steam because you get to play with your friends. I want to play pool with y'all.
Oh, Jenny, you'll definitely love this game. If you guys are into like board games or just like old school like RPG tabletop stuff, you can definitely get this thing set up.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So like I said, maybe we'll do this in the afterwards one of these days or something. We just bring people on, we just play and share the screen or something. But like,
there is a cost to the game, so it actually does require you to pay. So it's not something like as simple as a Jackbox where we could all just kind of go in. Like, there is a cost to get into the game.
It's like $20, I think, per game.
There is a Steam sale coming up apparently sometime in February. I don't know when, and you'll probably be able to get it for half the price. But there is
for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, probably. Because people that are not having a girlfriend or something on Valentine's Day are really going to need to play some board games.
You're either fapping or playing video games, let's be honest with ourselves.
Or both.
Or at the same time.
That's some great multitasking.
Oh, yes.
But before we move on, I was the one that actually put VRChat in there, so I did play it actually with 90s a little bit last night. It's honestly, what it is, just to sum it up real quick, it is literally Ready Player One. You go in, you choose your avatar, you get to walk around. I was talking shit to, Reaper and Cloud. The people have built their own games. There was somebody that built a Mario track, and we played in it, and it's disorienting as fuck. But in VR, it's a lot of fun. You just gotta walk around and fuck around with your friends. It's a lot of fun just kind of walking around doing stuff. But it does do this thing of there's really nothing to do besides walk around and just interact with other people. You do get different avatars, so you can look like your favorite characters if someone put them into the game. But honestly, there's really not much else going on besides joking around and fucking around.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, the VR thing is starting to guess work or whatever the fuck. I mean, I don't know why people want to do this shit. I mean, it reminds me of PlayStation Home, honestly, and I don't think PlayStation Home did particularly well.
Similar to...
Yeah, similar to Home. So, I mean, I don't know, but, I mean, that fucking meme needs to go and die, like Cedric said earlier, and it is what it is, man. But, people, it's time for, you know what time it is. Come on.
What time is it?
It's time for, let me find it, Ganja, because I didn't do my shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on. There it is. Oh, the flicks and chill. Oh, my God. I had to do the fade because I fucked up. But, yeah, man, it's flex and chill. We're going to make this pretty goddamn short, sir. But, with that said, Ganja Guru, how you doing, by the way? God damn it.
I'm doing fine, sir.
Fuck on you, by the way. Jesus Christ.
I got blessed by the light.
Oh, man. So, I was kind of not wanting to talk about this. And I
What are you talking? What are we bringing up?
Wait, what? Bring what up?
Is Nick looking for his penis again?
No, the thing is, like, I don't know if he was making some kind of like pun or something, like bring it up, like.
No, I was just hyping up what you're gonna bring up next, but apparently it actually sounded like I was bringing something up. But no, I'm not. Sir, I'm not.
I leave you all for 5 minutes, and you're reenacting Brokeback Mountain.
Hey, I'll bring it up somewhere. I don't know what the fuck. I'm not gonna do that. No, people.
We can also play Mr. Person Island if you want later.
Oh my goodness! No, people. Coco.
I'm in love with the Coco.
I am not so much in love with the
entire movie. You didn't say that once.
Actually,
because
I did,
it was actually a good movie and I was enjoying myself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you had bad taste. Because this movie was not that great. No,
oh, fuck you, man. You were loving it too.
I did like this movie, man, but god damn, can we please stop overhyping shit, please?
No, hype it up more. This is the greatest movie of all time, and it cured my diseases.
It gave those dreamers an actual citizen card. Like, all those dreamers that are about to get deported, they became citizens after Coco came out. It was magical.
Trump saw it, and he's reenacting the wall.
Yeah, he's not even going to build it anymore. It changed his mind about racism.
Yo, it probably did. Because as soon as this fucking movie... Yeah.
We're bullshitting. Where's your evidence for this one?
Trump doesn't know how to read. He's not going to watch an animated movie.
No. Wait, what does that do with reading, motherfucker? Like, goddamn, this shit.
I don't know.
He's so dumb that he wouldn't even appreciate good animation because he can't read.
Man, I don't know what the fuck to say. All I'm saying is, like, this movie, it could have been better. But with that said, I had a good time, okay? I really did. But it was that depressing shit. I'm sick of fucking Pixar always doing that thing where they're trying to really push the fucking sadness on you with some really awful shit. Always having to be about death. Like, yeah, I didn't cry during this shit. I didn't get upset. Don't look at me.
One moment got me really hard.
One moment got you really hard, you said.
I mean, it's really near the end of the movie. Are we just going to jump right to it?
We can jump right to it, but in the same sense, too, I just want to say, like, right away before you watch this movie, how were you feeling that you're going to... What did you think you were going to feel about the movie?
Honestly, y'all have to convince me to watch it, because... It's one of those things where I used to watch. It's like one of the things of why I don't like side scrollers because as a kid, all I watched was animated movies all the fucking time. And then as I grew up, it's not that I grew old of them because almost everyone I've watched recently has been good. It's just I've never really felt a need to go watch these movies because it's like I don't know. I've always had something else to watch, something more interesting to watch, something better to watch. And to me, it's like, oh man, watching an anime movie, I don't really want to. I saw Zootopia just because I just out of obligation for the show, and I was like, wow, this is a great fucking movie. Holy shit. This is the same one. Y'all have to convince me because I really don't like watching animated movies just because I feel like there's nothing there for me. But when I was watching this, I'm like, I honestly expected to be met. I honestly expected this to be middle of the road and me to be like, come in here and be like, yeah, it's a stream it, avoid it, whatever. Don't even bother. But I actually kind of walked out of it going, I really enjoyed it. I think this is very, very similar to Moana. Yeah. Right down to the dog characters, the chicken character. The skeleton uncle is the Rock's character from Moana, and the main characters, they're interchangeable. I feel like they took the template of Moana, and they said, let's do this, but for the Mexican culture. Mm-hmm. But it still worked.
Yeah, which makes sense to me. Now, how did you feel about this before you watched it, Ganja? Like, what did you feel like you were going to think about
Me, I was kind of on your side. Like, I thought this was going to be just a pandering movie for people who want to be like, I support the land cause because I saw Coco this year. And I felt like it was going to be pandering to the point, like, it was just going to be cultural references all around the movie. Like, hey, if you're Mexican or Latino, do you know what this is like? Do you know what this feels like? Hey, do you remember this growing up? Oh, do you remember your mom beating you with a sandal? We all remember our moms beating like us with a sandal. And like, I thought it was going to be like that, but it was actually really entertaining. And the stuff that they did evolve in the Mexican culture, they did touch on in a very appropriate way that I didn't feel like they were pandering to Mexicans or Latinos in general to try to come and support this movie. It felt like whoever made this movie actually genuinely liked the culture and the ideas that come around it, or really trying to explain it for modern viewers. Because the one thing I appreciate was Nick and Alan, you guys were asking a lot of questions when they got into like the whole spirituality and mythology of, Mexican culture and just lands in general. And I thought that was interesting because they didn't go out of their way to try to feed this to you. Like, they left you alone to think of some questions, to look up stuff. But they still went out their way to describe some things in a certain way, like what is the Day of the Dead? The grandma goes out her way to explain that because that is an overall plot point. But all the little nuances that actually occur with that holiday, you have to either know a little bit about the culture or like some of the similarities between that and Santeria to get what they're trying to portray and what to show you. Like the whole idea of like the final death. Yeah, it's a little spoiler, but the whole idea of the final death that Nick was like, oh, so you die and you die again. Like, they just left that open, and I'm pretty sure if I didn't, like, explain to you or had an idea where they were coming from with that, you would have been like, well, fuck this movie. Apparently you could die twice. And I appreciated that because it gives you a little more mystery to the world and to make you want to explore it more if you really appreciate the ideas that they're trying to portray. The one thing I didn't like was the whole idea of doing, like, these quick little references. Like, I don't know why Frida was there. Like, I know she was one of the characters to try to push it along, but I felt like that was pandering, as well as the whole idea of the dog becoming a skeleton. I thought that was very like a basic story of like, oh, let's have this one sidekick character become an angel in the end. It wasn't so much pandering, it was more of that same Disney stuff, like, the unlikely character is the hero that started the whole journey, if you really think about it. And I didn't really like that. I never really liked that in Disney movies. But the overall story, the development with the characters, how well they blended together, and the main character, I always forget his name, but the main character who's do you know his name? Alan?
Oh god, it wasn't Nicholas because we kept making that joke. It starts with a D. Something like that.
Yeah, I forget the main character's name, but the whole idea of him like trying to actually find his way and the family holding him down really got me because that's the kind of a story of everybody. Like you always have these traditions in your families that you want to continue on, or you have these careers or these different lifestyles that your families hate upon for irrational reasons or for personal reasons themselves that restrict you from actually deciding who you are as a person. And that was very interesting. It had a great fucking reveal at the end that actually got Nick surprised, which I was happy for.
Yeah, I know, it really did surprise me. But at the same time, one thing I don't like about the movie is, like, they do so many things to distract you with other, like, I hate to do this, and it's not, like, because I don't know the lore of this actual Mexican culture, because I'm not a big fan of my own culture, and I just don't go into it and look into that stuff. And then this thing, I mean, apparently just from what God just said, I mean, it does kind of make up its own rules to make it more mysterious. And it's like, okay, now you're getting agendas mixed up, whether you want to be entertaining and fucking make me have a great time, or you want to actually teach me something. I mean, there's certain things in here where, like, what you call it, continuity is actually like challenged here. Like I honestly, if you watch this movie and you want to actually think and not just sit there like, oh, I'm watching a little kids movie, and you want to think about this deeper, there's things that you can say that will argue points that the movie makes. Like for instance, like, and I mean, we're not gonna say who it is, so it's not really a spoiler, but it is about the Day of the Dead and shit like that. So it's like, come on, people, someone's gonna die.
Wait, are we gonna go into spoilers at all of this? Or
not really. Not? I don't really want to go into too many spoilers, but this is one that's like pretty obvious, and actually it's said in the trailer too, to an extent. Not the person, but the death, and the whole idea of it. And the thing is like when someone goes into the world of death, just because they touch some enchanted fucking thing in some weird area, it's weird they can just go in and out and make this rule, like, oh, well, we'll give you our blessing. We'll do this thing to make you go out again, but then you can come right back in. I'm like, okay, why isn't, like, tons of people doing this shit? Just because
most people aren't grave robbing.
Yeah, but... Okay, so that's a rule though. Like, what if he knows?
Well, yeah, because he's desecrating the dead on their holiday, so that's what his punishment is, to live throughout the night as somebody that's going to die before he gets repentance.
And he can only go back to the blessing. Like it almost like you're wondering.
He has to ask forgiveness for doing that.
Yeah, you're wondering how many people don't do this, dude. The consequence of that is he got lucky. He was able to find his family. What if like me? I randomly went in. I don't fucking know any. I maybe know one person in my entire life that might be in that fucking world, and it's just like I'd be fucking screwed. So it's like it's a thing, and I'd have to be grave robbing to even get there. So it's like that's gonna get rid of a lot of people to accidentally go into this fucking world of the dead.
Yeah, and like with that too, like the luckiness of everything. Like I'm sorry, and I know he had to get to the guy eventually, his father, or whatever, the musician. And it's like, I know he's going to get to the main dude. It says in the trailer as well. But it's like, do you really have to be in a situation where you just met up with your family and then somehow your dog is conveniently able to go in there with you, and then conveniently you run into another very, very central, very, very important character, and he's done comedic shit the entire movie, but yet somehow he still gets away with certain things? It's like convenience on convenience on convenience on convenience. It's like, at a certain point, you're telling me this story, and it's supposed to be a deep story, but nothing's really like adding up to where like I'm not scared for the kid anymore. Like with Toy Story and things like that, you didn't see situations where Woody just got lucky. Like they had to know, oh shit, they're coming upstairs. Let's go hide in the fucking box. You know what I mean? Like with Bug's Life, they were going through tons of shit. The cricket thing, basically Negan in bug form, was fucking with them as soon as
that's the thing. Like this story this is more like I guess Find Nemo, or I guess you want to say what's that movie?
No, this is literally just a story of Moana.
Like, no, it's not Moana, because it goes into a lot more difference than Moana. Because Moana was actually about the discoveries of her whole life about her. This was about him trying to change the family's point of view of of being a musician and them accepting him for who he is. Whereas in Moana, it was more about her discovering her past and just trying to figure out
her parents literally said, for reasons that don't get explained till later in the movie, is you can't do this one thing or it's a curse. He can't do the music because it's a curse. In one case, it's actual waves. In the other case, it's music. Like, when I said that this is a template for Moana, I mean, it takes a lot of that stuff, to the extent where she's going on an adventure to try to help. In Moana, was to help her family. In his case, was to actually help himself and to learn what it is about family.
And the thing is, this is more like that movie with their emotions. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Inside Out?
Inside Out, where there's not really a villain. It's more about the journey and the exploration of this world and the mythology and these characters. Like, we don't actually get a villain until like the last 30 minutes, and that's basically, for like you said, for convenience sake, honestly, because it's a Disney movie and it's a kid movie and they always need villains. But before that, it's mostly just a journey to discover this world, figure out how to get back home while still trying to achieve your dream. Because the whole reason, like, you're like, oh, well, it's kind of convenient he runs into his family. Well, he doesn't want to run into his family. Like, the whole thing is him trying to get away from them because they don't want him to become who he is. So he's trying to go to this one family member that actually will give him his blessing for the art he wants to pursue. And that's the whole thing about it, is him actually run away from one side of his family and preference of another.
Yeah, and you say it's convenient. He's bumping into a person that's essentially shady. Like, the guy he bumps into and goes on his journey with is essentially going to the same destination he is. They're just doing about it in two different ways, because that guy doing the song, like, we don't know this till later on, but that, the guy singing, doing this crazy thing, that's like the biggest event of the year. or biggest event of the year because it's Day of the Dead. So everybody wants to go there. So it makes sense that the main character is going to show up with other people that have the similar goal, because we learned that the guy you meet up has a goal of wanting to meet the guy for reasons, and since we won't spoil it, but
yeah,
like to me, like everything in this thing kind of did make sense. Everything kind of worked on it, and it's one of those things where I just kind of like the progression. There's always a sense of time. Like I knew that there's a situation where you think like this kid. It's always about what. It's never like with these kids movies. It's never whether or not the kid's gonna survive or whether or not the kid's gonna complete his goal. It's always about how. That's at the end of the day. Anyone that thinks walking into this movie that the kid's gonna die, you're crazy. This is not. Disney movie's never gonna be about that. It's always, like Gotcha said, about the journey. It's about how is he gonna complete it. And this, to me, completed it in a way where I was actually genuinely shocked. I like in my head, like they do a red herring where they're like, oh man, this guy is probably this guy. And in my head the whole time I'm like, that makes no fucking sense. There is no way that the family's gonna hate this guy and everyone else loves him because it goes against the rules that they already established. But then when the twist happens, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect fucking sense.
Well, actually, no, really quick. I'm going to try something new really quick because I loved it. You said that, and I'm going to let you continue on that point, but I'm going to bring something in here.
I'll let you finish, but Beyonce had the best music video of all time.
No, I'm going to put this right here. So what we're going to do, when I'm doing like this, no spoilers, but when it comes on like this, people spoiler alert. So right now, it's time for spoilers. I'm sorry, but it won't be like this the whole way. So just mute us. And then when it's gone,
Cedric was right about you, man. Because in the chat room, he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do a quick review of Coco." And Cedric's like, "Yeah, when Nick is like a black preacher, when he says he's about to do a quick sermon, we're here for another hour, and everybody knows it."
Yeah, I'm so sorry. He watches the reasons I hate out. He knows.
Okay, so spoiler is on. Okay, Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's father. Xavier dies in X-Men 3.
Oh, you motherfucker! No.
Jack dies in Titanic.
No, you.
Sigourney Weaver doesn't make it through Avatar. How many spoilers I got?
And Billboard ends with them trying to kill some pedophile dude.
God damn it!
But no.
Well,
okay.
Here's the thing. Because I'm gonna ask a question really quick, as far as when that goes. Because you're saying like, well, convenience factor. No, it's not really convenient. Listen, man. There's a situation where people are forgetting him, and then he finds him. Meanwhile, if everyone's discussing the whole idea of like, oh, fuck that guy, that guy's an asshole, and he did something wrong to Coco, and the whole thing, Coco is a grandmother, she's a titular character because this whole thing wraps up to be about her, both in her youth and her old age, and she's dying. She's dying because she's having like
well, she has Alzheimer's. She's really old. She's not dying, but she has Alzheimer's.
Yeah, but the calculator would also say, no, like this bitch is dying.
Okay,
like,
well, no, like
the numbers are
not a situation where she's like bleeding or like has a disease. She's passing away from old age, but she has Alzheimer's, which is like the problem of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the whole idea of like, oh, the reasons that she's forgetting somebody is because she's dying. No, the only reason like he's starting to pass on to the next guy, I forget what the character's name is, but Miguel's real grandfather. The reason he's starting to fade in and out is because her Alzheimer's is increasing now, and that's why everyone in the family really hates that he tries to play music around her or tries to do the whole musician thing, because everyone assumes when she calls out for her dad that it's making her remember the bad times of her dad leaving her, when it's actually her trying to remember who her father was.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like when you watch the movie.
Jack dies in the Titanic.
No.
But anyway, it's one of those things where it's like when you first get the movie, you see this poster or you see this picture up there, and it's like the head's cut off or cut out, and it's like. It makes no sense. Like in my head, I was thinking the whole time, it makes no sense that the big music guy, that's the biggest guy that everyone remembers him because he's a huge musician, is the black sheep of this family, because he would not be alive there because everyone is forgetting him. It makes so much sense that the character that we meet is there because he is this kind of disheveled, almost loser character, because of the fact that everyone's forgetting about him, so he can't even get into the front fucking door. He had to get lucky because some security guard didn't want to fucking do his job. And to me, it's like, okay, that what I did, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect fucking sense. Of course that works. That makes everything work.
Okay,
and that's the moment that got me is when he's talking like, oh, about Coco, and it's like, oh shit, the grandmother. That's the scene that got me when he's realizing that the only person that is keeping him alive is slowly forgetting him. I fucking lost. I had to mute my fucking mic because I'm like, that is fucking depressing.
No, and you're right, it is depressing. But the thing I couldn't help but do that was piss me the fuck off. Is this whole family, like, I don't know whether or not to like the family or not, because the whole family is like, fuck this motherfucker. Meanwhile, you guys are forgetting him? So either you're just saying fuck music and fuck that guy that you don't know.
I can give you a good example of this right now. My grandfather is remembered by my family as a loving, kind person. But the thing is, if you talk to like younger generations that don't know my grandfather or his father, they might not even exist. Nick. And that's showing you that because we've only they never really gone out. Only the stories they tell them is like, yo, your great grandfather's a piece of shit. That's all they know of him. There's nothing. They don't know what he looks like. They don't know his story. They don't know his face. They don't even know his name.
And it's
he's just known as that asshole that left our great grandma Coco.
And you got to understand the whole ripple effect, because it's like you have the top tier with the mother there. He left and they assumed that he never came back. So she's like, okay, you know what? He's the black sheep. I'm cutting him out right away. So he's already screwed. As soon as the photo's not up there, he's never ever going to get past the gate. The mother is going to be like, okay, we're never talking about him. So the younger kids are never going to talk about him. It's this ripple effect of people forgetting him by putting him out of their mind. So it's only Miguel, after 10 generations, who's the only real person that's trying to even get some sort of memory, is the only reason that this ever gets brought up. If not, it's literally like they're basically choosing ignorance and they're not thinking about him. And as a result of them not thinking, they're not remembering, and he's slowly essentially dying.
And then in the beginning when they're showing I call it a Santeria base, but that's not what it is. But basically what they post all the family photos and stuff. That's something that you always walk by, and you always it's either going to be either have it somewhere private that your family will always see it, and you always go by and look at it and remember the family and all the people that they've done. She goes by and says people's names, what their profession was, what they did before they died, who they're related to. Nobody did that for him. He was literally just out.
It was only his daughter. Because his daughter, she left at such a young age, so she still had that love that she'll never get rid of, because it's the best part of her memory. And her having Alzheimer's has probably kept him going a lot longer, because of the fact that she was remembering the stuff of the childhood. But the problem is she was even forgetting that stuff. So essentially what happens with Alzheimer's is you start just losing everything until you die. You'll die of old age, but you'll start losing every bit of memory and every person you've ever known.
Shit, some rare cases they go back to being almost toddlers.
Yeah, because they lose every memory. Imagine you losing your entire life, and as a result, it's that's why he kind of was dying, because it's none of the family below the mother even think about him because it's so far separated. And it's I got that because they made every rule in this worked in every single way. And yeah, that was a great fucking moment where it's when he has to actually get her to remember it even for a moment. It's okay, good. It's he realizes the importance of family.
And that was something I'm glad that you brought up, Alan, was the song "Remember Me," because I was right aboard with you, Nick, when they first played that song. I thought it was some cheap ass "My Way" from fucking what's from I can't believe I'm blanking on that fucking singer's name right now. Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
Shame on me for forgetting that shit. But for Frank Sinatra, "My Way," and it sounded just like a fucking ripoff. But the thing is, when later on you actually find out that it was Coco's father who wrote that, and the song is supposed to be 10 times different than the way it's being sung now, you get why the song sounds generic, and it sounds, a lot different than
"Remember Me."
Yeah, it sounds cheesy, and it sounds kind of a generic, champion song. But then when he sings it, it's actually a remembrance of, your kid, not trying to forget who you are as out there traveling or working.
True, yeah. I mean, and even talking about that now, even I get a little emotional. I can feel my heart kind of getting a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and what God said beautifully right there too, and even you have it. Both you guys are really. You guys are telling me more on this, but then there's, even this over here, you rip out the picture of that photo, but then you have the dude, who they think is the father right there, or who Coco, or not Coco, Miguel, who he thinks is the father right there on the fucking thing.
No, that's his own personal stash. That's actually not because they hate musicians. That statue there is when he's going in his attic. They don't know that.
Oh, you're right, because he is by himself.
That's all his famous musicians that he looks up to.
Yeah, that's why he goes up there and he either made the guitar himself and he goes, I'm going to watch the movie. I've seen it a million times. That's his own personal stash because they hate musicians.
Okay, that makes sense then. But yeah, like I said, dude, I mean, for me, there's little things I just want, and maybe I wasn't paying attention. We watched this late at night. I was fucking tired. Okay, I'm going to admit it. But at the same time, that dog and the goofy little shit that the dog's doing, and then turning into a spirit animal, but then not being a spirit animal.
I'm okay with the turning into a spirit animal because I kind of like that.
I let the dog slide because I used to have a Chihuahua that looked just like that. We used to call him Dobie, but it was short for Doberman because he looked like a Doberman picture, kind of like how this Chihuahua does. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, he was just retarded as that. Like every time I saw him doing stupid shit, I was like, oh man, I like to picture Dobie out in the afterworld just fucking up some dead people right now, doing stupid shit. Because like I could picture, like my dog was dumb like that, but endearing. Like he did cute shit at the same time. So you're like, oh look, cute little retard. Oh look how cute he is though, playing with the leaves.
Yeah,
stupid motherfucker.
It did kind of bother me, but at the end of the day, it's like he was loyal as fuck, and at the end, it helped him so much. Where I'm like,
I feel like his ending was kind of just forced. I don't know about you.
I don't think it was. I think it was I get what you mean. Like it was in a sense of like we got to do this, but I liked it that even if it was a bit forced, because it's like, yeah, you know what? He's at the end of the day, he's always gonna guide him. Like animals are always gonna guide you, kind of to help you out, always be there with you unconditionally. So it makes sense that eventually he'd be the kind of guide for him. So I liked it. To me, it was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in a sense too. I mean, it's just for me, what they do later on in the film is what I don't agree with. Of just like it's stupid and he's retarded, and it's like, aha, it's kind of funny, cute little dog, you little dumb, you little silly, and then it's like, oh, he's silly and he got fucking wings. Oh, he's silly and he's a fucking superhero. Oh, he's silly and it's like, what the fuck? He still
maintains himself, and it's just like, yeah, he's in his own way was always guiding.
Me personally, yeah. I don't think he's worse than the chicken from Moana. I thought the chicken was way worse.
Oh, that chicken was useless as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm only comparing them because they almost do the same kind of thing of let's do the retarded thing. But in Moana, it was just like, why is this character there? But in this, it's like, I liked it.
I always thought he was emergency food just in case things got serious.
Dude, they made that joke, and I'm like, this is a kid's movie. What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
Oh man, spoiler for a kids movie. There's straight murder.
Oh yeah, I forgot to touch on that.
They straight murder somebody, not like the whole thing of off screen. He literally poisons a motherfucker in betrayal.
He collapses in the middle of the road and everything.
And dies. They straight murder. They don't give a fuck. I expected them to pull that fucking just do a Mexican stand-up because we're going through all the stereotypes and start shooting because of how fucking brutal this is.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, and then like the musician dude who poisons like the actual father of Coco, literally like does some fucking like evil heel face thing like from WWE, or he's
gonna
like,
murder a child too. Fuck it.
Yeah, it gets to a point where he's like, and by the way too, like it's like, oh, I'm gonna keep you here forever. I'm gonna do that thing. I'm like,
yeah, that was that generic villain turn that they always can't get away with in these Disney movies. Like they can't get away of needing to have a villain.
Yeah, and then,
yeah, like, but as far as generic villagers, I like this one because it didn't pull punches of like, oh, that's a child. I don't fucking care. Kill him. Like to me, like good. You're not sitting there going, oh, I'm a villain, but I can't kill a child. Nah, fuck that murder. I don't give a fuck.
And then the way they show everybody too, like for one, I don't know why technology works in the afterworld. Like that's another thing. I understand, like, you can't have the whole world be fucking dark. Like I get it. It's a cartoon movie.
It's the 1940s in the real world, so it's the same technology in the dead world.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's just kind of odd where like they go into the dead world and like they have like these big screens and concerts. Like they got the fucking, they got the the chase field or whatever the fuck. Or
well, that's the thing. Like that's kind of sticks with the mythology. Like anytime you have people like go and try to picture like heaven, they always do it with the time frame they're in. Oh, like I'm pretty sure if we looked at like 1970s or 1960s version of Coco, it will probably be like everybody like wearing Dasher suits and shit. Like that's just guilty of every time period.
Yeah.
We want to put ourselves in the afterlife.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because that reminds me. The moral of the story of this movie is die young, kids. Die about 18, 19, maybe 25. Yeah. Because it's one of the things that I always never understood as a kid. When people were telling me, it's like, oh, when you die, you go to heaven. It's like, when I die at 95 and I can't shit without help, I'm going to be that forever? What the fuck what is this bullshit? And this movie does it where it's like, whenever you die, you stay like that forever. So the spoiler is on screen. When the grandmother dies, she's like 90 and shows up in the afterlife as 90. Man, that is some bullshit.
See, I want a refund. Alan, you want to see? This is where I'm with Nick. I think they fucked up a good chance there for a reunion. You know what I think they should have done? This is like, what the movie should have done from Ganja's point of view. Like, this is not valid anyway for the criticism, or I'm going to put this against the movie. But honestly, what I think they should have done was had her turn to a little girl again. When she meets her parents.
Worse,
I think that would have been very impactful, and that would have left y'all crying 10 times more.
No, because it wouldn't have worked because they don't have a picture of her when she's a child. They put a picture of her when she's an adult, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I think you could have still got away with that because in the photos that her dad's ripped off out of, she's a little kid still.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's true, but I think like they would.
How do they remember them? Do you remember them as a family? Do they remember them as their characters and everything? And also too, speaking of the afterworld too, why was the wife so confused as to like her husband was never able to tell her in the afterlife of like how this shit happened?
She didn't care.
Yeah. They never met.
They touched on it. Like she actually yells at him, "You kept trying to contact me. I had nothing to do with you." I guess when she died, he went out his way to try to contact her, and let her know what happened to him. And she just wasn't having it. She died angry at him.
Exactly, and even if he they were always separated by the guards, so even if he got lucky 1 year or 2 years, it's like a situation of this person hates you, so you're never gonna be able to contact them anyway. And even if he can get through the gate, which he'd always have trouble getting through the gate. So it's it makes sense that's after 80, 90 years, it's just I tried. What more can I fucking do? I'm just constantly trying every year, and it's she's not having it because hey, women hold grudges.
And that gate was pissing me off too, because for one, I just hate how there's such a system and such a security. They have literally death TSA, and remind me the way they did the entire thing.
They did have death TSA. They checked bags.
Great.
Shit.
I loved it. It was great. Death TSA.
And on top of it too, it reminded me of this shit, people. Little Nicky, and watch this shit.
Hold on. And how the fuck did Coco remind you of Little Nicky?
Because
Nick has that same haircut.
Wait, who does?
You do.
Fuck you. But
if we're talking about things that make no sense and don't remind us of anything, that reminds me of you.
Oh, fuck you. No, because this movie, here's the thing.
Oh, God, look at that face. It looks like he just farted.
He did, probably.
It kind of looks like your haircut.
Fuck you, man.
Yeah, it looks like you. No fucking facial hair, really.
Yeah, or Ganja right now.
Well, I don't know. Ganja looks like one of those fucking stripper cops.
Fantastic. When we're gonna start assembling the team?
Why?
What?
No.
I called you Mr. Fantastic because you stretched so hard for that. Don't make me explain a good joke.
Oh, your jokes suck.
That was actually pretty funny. I didn't even catch it, and it was still funny. You know, man, you're the best ever. Now, agree with me on this fucking topic, Ganji. You fucking bitch.
No.
So, this thing over here, and yeah, everyone's like, oh, what the fuck, Nick? Really, Nick? No, you guys will understand. And Little Nicky, one thing that people used to make fun of this movie for, oh, right, hell is that fucking awesome, where they have apartments and houses and all this cool shit, and there's even music in the hell realm and all this shit.
It's all Katy Perry.
Yeah, but then this movie does the exact same thing, and no one calls us out for that bullshit. I'm sorry, but that's a little ridiculous.
No, it's okay. First of all, that was hell. Second of all, this is the afterlife. This isn't a heaven or hell. This is essentially a version of purgatory where people go and just chill. This isn't
afterlife and hell are the same thing with these two fucking movies.
No, they're not. Hell is eternal damnation, is a prison. This is a version of purgatory and maybe heaven. It's weird. I don't know much about the culture, but that isn't hell. Hell is when Marty McSandler here goes to fucking hell. Hell isn't supposed to be a 5-star resort. In the Day of the Dead, that's essentially like a purgatory, a place of celebration for people to get remembered. Yeah. Generally speaking, unless you're a family of pieces of shit, you're not going to put a murderer or a rapist on the thingy.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But you get situations where this, it's not about saying, this is hell. I don't want people to think that, I'm saying that the afterlife of the Mexican culture, even if it is that or not that, because I don't even fucking know. They mess up their own lore.
Let's talk about the context of the movie.
Yeah, but with this though, in the context of the movie, it's I'm not saying that it's hell, but what I'm saying is there's such a fucking system here. It's such a community and a society to where it's what's the difference between life and afterlife? There's no difference. It's the same shit. Except for the fact that I shouldn't be scared of people, and there shouldn't be any fucking things where I'm gonna get killed by somebody because I'm already dead.
You can die. What it is when you die, you go into this essentially this worship because people remember you, so it's always the good stuff. They have the system there to make sure that people that aren't, if you're forgotten by your family, you generally did something fucked up. You generally did something to betray your family, and in those cultures, even in my own culture, that's the biggest heresy. You could do all sorts of stupid shit, but once you betray the family, that's the worst crime ever. So that TSA stuff is to stop people that have committed the worst crime in this culture, which is betraying your family.
And then the whole TSC thing is only set up for Day of the Dead, so you can go and visit your family. It's not set up for hey, it's Monday, let's see if we can go visit our family, see what they're up to.
Okay, and you know, that makes better sense too. But like I said, I get irritated with this because this movie should have explained why it works like that. Why do we have a society? Why do we have all these things? And I'm sorry, I know it's stupid.
It did explain it in its own way. It's one of those things that's showing, not telling. Where when you have the characters walking in and they have their passport, oh, that person got in because he's remembered. And then when the one of the main characters has no memory, it's oh, that guy doesn't have a picture. If you don't have a picture, you can't get in. Why would you not have a picture? Oh, this whole movie's about family. You must have done something horrible to your family. That's why you can't get in.
And then it even touch on people that aren't being remembered by their family alone, because if you remember, the character goes in as a Frida costume, and he tries to get away with that, and they catch him, and his excuse is oh, I'm on everyone's friend day. I'll go wherever I feel like it. Don't worry about where I'm going.
Yeah,
And that's actually that's a touch on famous people, because if you remember, they actually touch on one of the main baddies. The reason he just doesn't want that secret to come out is because he's going to live forever, because everybody remembers him as a great artist, and then he knows that he has a chance of disappearing if that ever goes away, because it touches on the whole, if you're a famous person or a legend, when you pass away, you're forever.
Yeah, like
Tupac
in heaven right now, man. He is living it.
How am I doing this?
No, I mean, and like I said, these things make sense to me, and I understand it, and I'll take the L on it. But I'm gonna take off the spoiler list now. Boom, that's gone. So no more spoilers. It's time to do the review thing. And for me personally, I'm gonna go ahead and go first because I'm so negative. I want to end this off on a good note. Yeah, this is Stream It. I'm gonna be honest. I almost cried. I didn't cry, but I almost did, and that's pretty amazing. The only movie that Pixar made me like legit fucking cry, where I had to like leave the room because I was looking like a bitch in front of my niece and nephews, was Toy Story 3. And I was like, the reason why is because even though that movie was so silly and all that shit happens at the end, it wasn't just the end that made me cry too. It was just the fact that like you built these characters and the continuity of these characters and the way these characters think, work, and feel so well that these were real to me. Not just Andy or anybody else. Like, it was real to me. And this movie, with shit like this, I'm just like, listen, I'm sorry, but you took me out of the movie so many times where you actually had me. I was in it as soon as he fucking went to the afterworld, whatever the fuck. And then you just wanted to, like, give me reasons to get to the next scene instead of actually telling me a story, let me live in your world. So, yeah, for me, it's a stream. I think you guys would definitely like to watch it. If it's free on Netflix or something, this would be fucking awesome. And honestly, like, if you're really into this type of culture, like, yeah, it's probably a 5 out of 5 for you. It's probably a fucking super buy it. But for me personally, it's just not my thing.
If you're a super Mexican, you love this.
Yeah, if you like tortillas in the morning, then this is your
damn. That's real Mexican
at all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, breakfast tacos. God damn, that's like
you're
on your pony boots and Spurs level Mexican.
I don't want to think of breakfast tacos, man.
God damn, but Alan, what would you say about this, man?
I'd say one of those things where, like, I always avoid these animated movies because I feel like they're really not for me. This is one of the few ones that kind of broke that mold. I'd have to honestly go with a High Rented, because one of those things where it was all right and it did a lot of interesting things, but to me it was like it did its job. It did its job well, but it's not something that I'll ever want to watch again. And that's to me like, well, I'll only say bye to things where I want to watch it again. And to me, it's like, I've seen it once, I'm okay. I liked it and I had a great time, and I'll discuss points on either, good or bad, but it was that's about it. Like, it was never anything more that it did its job. It didn't do anything like outstanding. It did what it needed to do. So I'd go with the High Rented, because if you rent it, you'll have fun, you return it, and maybe you'll watch it again, maybe you won't.
Okay, makes sense. And I like that, for instance. And I could probably see where you're coming from. I won't be mad if I rented it. I'd be like, oh, that was $3, whatever. Ganja, how about you, sir? I
say fucking buy it. You already know I love this movie. I cried throughout the film. Adrian, I do have a heart, baby, unlike this fucking evil ass person I work with and call my friend.
Hello. Hey,
I'm talking to Alan, actually, by the way.
Oh,
but no,
not evil. I got my co-host here. I'm not evil.
She's looking at you hard, like, don't believe him.
Oh, she's trying to hide behind that headphone. She's like, don't incriminate me, motherfucker.
Tell them I'm not evil.
Kiss my ass.
I love you, Penelope, so much for that right now. Hilarious. But yeah, I say buy it, man. Like, besides to go over the points that we gone through during the spoiler part, it's really a great movie, well done animation. Yes, it follows the same Pixar template, but at this point, every movie just follows templates, and I'm not going to hold it against that unless it was done poorly or in like a very bad way. Because there's a thing, like, if you do templates for movies, you can do it one way where it's like basic and it's some decent storytelling, but they went out their way to make the template and stretch it as much as they can to actually fit the narrative they're trying to say with their whole Mexican culture and the whole family. I think, honestly, the whole family idea bonded well with this, rather than with Moana, because there was no some big bad or evil god character to try to really to tell the story about the idea of family and about people. About not people, but the characters trying to develop with the people around them and the people they grew up with, which is basically all this is about. This is 100% about family. The people you go up and grow up with, the people coming up with, the aunties and the stuff that you don't really remember talking about, but your family always brings up. It touches hugely on that, which a lot of movies don't reference family members that are long gone because people don't like to talk about the subject death, especially in kids' movie. And this one doesn't shy away from it to the point that it's the whole plot of the film, which I appreciate. And it does some tough conversations to the point that it touches on Alzheimer's without saying it directly. It touches on murder and the betrayal of friendship without really pointing it out. as a moral lesson, and it touches on like how you should accept the weird ones of your family, even though they're going against something you probably don't agree with necessarily, because everyone has to choose their own life. And I think all those things were well done, and I don't think they were ever felt like they were for pandering towards a family demographic. So honestly, I say this is a full buy it.
Yeah, man. No, and I'm surprised that it was such a full buy it. I thought you'd be a little bit with me, but hey, at the same time, I'm not too surprised either.
Hey, I cried on my. See, that's the thing. Like Call Me Maybe. Everyone's like, "Oh God, you didn't like the whole subject." No. I like taboo subjects. God, agree. How many fucking suicide and murder jokes have I made on this show? I like taboo subject and taboo humor. If it's not done right, you lose me already, because it's got to be entertaining or done right that I feel like I'm bonding with these characters. And Call Me Maybe didn't do that. Whereas this film, I felt it, for all the stuff it's going with, it did do that, and it was successful with the idea itself.
Yeah, and really quick too, I'm just gonna show them to Double Toes in chat because Cedric said this is him at the end of the movie.
Man,
yeah, I was crying like a bitch.
The GIF I posted, that Futurama episode ruined me, because every single time I hear "Remember Me," I just think of that stupid bullshit. Every time, man.
Yeah, and by the way, and
that's really what the movie is about. It's honestly, man, I wanted to make a shrine to my family members that passed away after this. Like, because it makes you realize how important it is. Like, the thing is, like, the idea is not about the dead people. It's about how the living still remembers you and how they treat your memory after you're gone. And basically, the movie is telling you, if you're a good person and you touch a lot of lives, you can have a chance at a long-lasting, afterlife, which is very different than what we get, out of like a lot of the modern religions, such as Christianity, which is like once you die, it's final. And you're decided for what you did. This is more like, if you were a good person, you're gonna be remembered and loved, so your memory continues your forever life after that.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's little beautiful things that you guys have been saying about this.
I know the movie's called something different, Jenny, but it doesn't deserve my respect.
And I didn't watch it.
Oh man, yeah, and you fucking dodged a goddamn bullet with that one. But people,
because I'm smart.
But people, I don't want y'all to dodge a bullet, because we're gonna be ending off the show today. We're gonna go to sleep. We're gonna get some memes. Just stick to the Mexican culture.
Fuck's a meme?
Yeah, you're gonna get some memes, because we're gonna party in the after hours.
Oh
bitches!
yes, people. Yes. And why don't you tell them what's gonna be happening after hours, if there is gonna be anything going on?
We actually don't got anything planned so far. We're just gonna do a viewer choice, or anything you guys want to bullshit, something new has come up, or small YouTube videos. Just hang out and have a good time like usual. Sometimes you guys will come up with movies you want to watch, or just have a good vote for what we're going to check out, and we'll do it by that. Next week, though, we are going to be doing something for Black History Month. We want to celebrate the month off, right? Because finally, we actually get to celebrate a holiday on Saturday when it happens. So we're going to choose some of the best movies right now. We're deciding whether to do serious ones or a Black exploitation. I was thinking more Black exploitation, because that would be more fun for the general audience. And I do like Black exploitation films, because it's basically the most craziest things the 70s people could think of with Black culture. It's basically like what you see like in the 50s and 60s movies with like the cowboys versus the Indians. Like, they do the most craziest shit with it. And I really appreciate it. And then they had the big love of Kung Fu. So for some reason, a lot of these films have Kung Fu action, which makes no sense.
Got me sold, man.
But yeah, so next week, if we don't do serious films, we're definitely going to do like Black Dynamite, Gonna Catch You Sucker. He wants to do Creed, which I don't think that counts as blaxploitation, but I think we can let it slide.
I mean, it doesn't. I just threw it up because honestly, like, this is your thing. I really don't know any of these movies. Like, I'm gonna be helping him set up, obviously, but I really don't know the movie choices. We're gonna obviously have this by Wednesday, by the midweek. We're gonna have this ironed out. We'll tell y'all all the details there. But it's like, I really don't even know where to go. Does Undercover Brother count?
No. I'm gonna try to find ones that were actually specifically made in the 70s, like Get You Sucker, Superfly, stuff like that.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, like I said, this is going to be some cool shit, and people, I cannot wait. But, yeah, make sure to look into the comment section of this particular video.
I just met you, and this is crazy. I'm a 17-year-old boy, so call me, baby. Fucking Chris.
How about the next slide? Next week is Super Bowl weekend. Fuck it. We're not going to have the after hours party. We're just going to watch the Super Bowl.
Well, no, that's a day after, luckily.
Unless we gamble on it, I'm not watching the Super Bowl.
I want it just as a joke.
Man, and by the way, people, we're not doing Rabbit for tomorrow night. I'm sorry, but the last wrestling thing that we did was fucking shut the fuck up.
I love it. I had a great time.
I had such a great time. I went on to the Ringside podcast to join you on the actual show.
It means Ringside Hangout.
Yeah, Ringside Hangout podcast.
I stick by what I said. I remember the old show.
No, but yeah, people, I was upset, and honestly, yeah.
Remember Wrestling Wednesdays?
Yeah, I remember wrestling fucking Wednesdays.
I almost want to join you and watch it next week with you, Trey.
Oh, man. We'll see what happens. But tomorrow night is Royal Rumble, people. I'm not sure if we're going to be watching it. I might have Hovig and Trey watching, then I'll just read the results. I'm so fucking sick with wrestling. I fucking hate wrestling so goddamn much. But if I do, and I don't know if Ruthless actually does these rabbits, whatever, but if he does, like, I'll join in there. I'll talk with you guys. I'll have fun with you guys. It was fun hanging out with everybody and everything. But
yeah, it was fun hanging out with everybody. But actually watching a wrestling show with only 3 wrestling matches in the 4 hours we watched it was great.
Yeah, fuck you, man.
Yeah, it was only there for 2.5.
They literally did a random match out of nowhere because you guys as wrestling fans realized as a group how bullshit this was and how bad you were getting screwed. Y'all were about to lynch the Vince McMahon in New York.
It was so fucking terrible. But anyways, people, aside from that, it is time to get the fuck out of here. So, with that said, Mr. Ganja Guru, why don't you tell these folks at the count of 3?
3,
oh yeah!
Attack!
Oh my goodness! Thank y'all for watching. It is late. I go to bed. I go to sleep time, and I go to sleep, and I sleep all time.